The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Assemble! You're listening to Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from Fantastic Forum Studios, Los Angeles. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case would be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First is our riddle. Inside of an enigma, trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey, what's up?
Next, he is our resident Dark Knight detective. He is our friggin' intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. It's Oz.
Did our intro get even shorter?
It got even shorter. Look, it's a work in progress. As for myself, my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mayor Young. But last, but definitely not least, it's the man of the hour. There it is. The backbone, the pillar, the strength of Fantastic Forum, the birthday boy, Moses Magnum. Happy birthday, Moses!
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So, yeah, the end. Well, welcome to Fantastic Forum, folks. We got a great show for you today because we're going to be celebrating Moses, and in turn, we're going to be talking about the stuff that Moses likes, which Moses likes the coolest stuff. So, we're going to be talking a little bit about Preacher. We're going to be talking a little bit about look, of course Resident Alien. And we're gonna talk about a whole bunch of other stuff too, because look, it's a birthday show. You know how these things go, man. It's like our birthday shows are some of the most renowned episodes of Fantastic Forum, just because I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be like how some of them have been in the past, but I feel like some of those record shows are definitely birthday shows. Well, I guess they're not record shows, though. It's just that they go longer than anyone intends because we're always having too good of a time or too drunk to realize how bad of a time everyone else is having.
Right.
One or the other. 6 to 1, half a dozen of the other. So, yeah, indeed. Gents, how's everybody feeling today? You all making it okay?
Almost. I just woke up from a nap.
There it is. Birthday nap. Is that so you can go all night on Fantastic?
Yeah.
I didn't know he hit 50.
Yeah.
the big fat
Yeah. I had to take a nap. I ate a lot. For lunch, for birthday lunch, I ate a lot, and I had that coma.
The itis.
Yeah.
What did you have?
I found a Mexican seafood place nearby here. Well, Emily, and I had a fish taco, a big, what they call a campechana, which is like shrimp, abalone, like 2 oysters, octopus, all in this like salsa type broth thing, you know, and then I had a half a dozen oysters.
Hey, all those oysters, man. You shouldn't be napping. You should have a little extra lead in your pencil right now.
Yeah, that's why I napped. I could,
Oh, okay.
Oh, whoa! He's letting those juices simmer.
Yeah,
there it is. There it is.
Yeah, that's why I call Emily my Medusa, man. One look and my dick turns rock hard.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Like definitely a lot more information than I think any of us were intending to get right now. But hey, that's fair. Like this is sober Mo talking
I haven't
too.
even started drinking yet.
That's what I'm saying. Sober Moses. Like wait till you get to the end of the show. He's like, I want to watch.
Yeah.
You want to watch? The cameras are running.
Yeah.
He's like, sign into the OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I'm about to review this little whiskey I'm drinking today.
Oh yeah, what is it?
Yeah, it's the Arrogant Bastard whiskey.
Oh yeah.
They made a whiskey. They usually make this dark, strong beer that's aged in oak barrels sometimes whiskey barrels. And they made a whiskey, and of course I'm like, wow, I gotta try it. It's a $70 bottle of whiskey, and normally like that I don't drink anything younger than 7 years old when it comes to whiskey.
Okay.
As you know, every now and then, like we did if you watched our Falcon and Winter Soldier finale special, we had the Kessler, and that's 2 years. So that's about like, yeah. If you watch that, you know why we picked that. Yeah. Otherwise, it's 7 and older for me. And this is 25 months, so $70 for a 25-month aged whiskey is not the ideal. But here we are. It's my birthday, so I'm gonna take a first swig. It has a brandy taste that's
okay.
fortified, which I'm not a fan of.
Okay.
So that's where we are here. Yesterday I did pre-production, so I wouldn't do it all here, but I got the seltzer water they sell at Costco, the LaCroix, and did a lime one. So I did it with that. It tasted good with that, but almost anything tastes good with that.
Yeah, no, LaCroix lime is delicious.
Yeah, so I did that, and then I had it on ice, on ice, how I usually have my bourbon, which is, let it sit in ice for about 15 minutes. And that was that. And, it definitely is better. A $70 whiskey, I would not buy to mix with something. And I would say, as much as a fan I am of Stone Brewing Company and Arrogant Consortium now, I would not recommend this. I would buy it just because you're a fan of the company, just because you're a fan of the company. But
right,
from one bastard to another, it's this is
stick to the beer.
Yeah,
their beer is very bitter. I'm actually surprised to hear that their whiskey would be sweet.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because it's so young, you can still taste the mash, the corn and barley in it, because those flavors haven't aged out. It's so young, It's almost like when you drink a White Dog, like just a clear whiskey right out of the still before it ages. And it's that I guess maybe that's what they're going for, but I don't know. I think if they put out another one, maybe a little older, if they age it 4 years, I'm in. I'll do that. I think this needs to be aged a little more. That's all.
That's fair.
But it is higher in alcohol. It is about 49%. And I meant to bring a Coke to mix it to try how it goes with that, because of the sweetness it already has. And but I didn't.
That's okay.
I failed you guys.
Speaking of the Falcon and Winter Soldier special we did, I believe that's up now. Links somewhere, maybe. I don't know. A little disappointed you guys didn't do the Super Soldier Serum shot.
Yeah.
I tried to make it, and then I realized I'm out of blue curacao, so it's not blue.
Wait, so are you gonna take that on air, Oz?
I could, but it's not really it. I mean, it's missing. You can see the room I left for that blue curacao, which I don't have.
But it's all the other good stuff, right? All the alcohol.
Oh yeah, everything. Blue curacao is alcohol too. Okay, fine.
I mean, blue curaçao's not. I mean, is it really though? It's liqueur. It's not really alcohol. Oh Lord. Oz on that popcorn. I can tell her. Oh, he's John Walker. Oh no. This fool got aggressive all of a sudden. When Oz starts saying some crazy stuff to y'all, don't understand it's not personal. It's the super soldier serum that got you.
And the cap is my shield because I'm.
That's just as sturdy as U.S. Agent Shield.
I love how they showed him like making it. Like Iron Man in the cave.
Right.
Then it just bends every time. Speaking of that, I actually went to Stone's Bistro and Brewery yesterday for my pre-birthday to have lunch with Lloyd,
nice
friend of ours here at the show.
What up, Lloyd?
One of my good friends, and it was his birthday about 2 weeks ago, so we kind of
happy belated, Lloyd.
And he told me he changed my review. So if you watched our wrap ups for Falcon and Winter Soldier, like all those 4 or 5 stars I gave it, take it back down to 2. Take it back.
What happened?
So he, when they had the reshoots and shit, there was an abandoned plot that they had to reshoot because of COVID. They couldn't do it, and it wasn't Super Soldier Serum that they were like trying to get the Globe Smashers or the Flag Smashers or Globe Trotters. They were they were trying to release a virus to make the world like snap again, like kill half of humanity.
Really?
Yeah. And then so he goes, if you actually watch it, you see like they were so like hard on to get these Flag Smashers, and then they just kind of that whole aspect of it fizzles out, because of that rewritten script. And he goes, you should watch it again after knowing that, and you'll see the holes, and you're not gonna like it the same. And then I'm like, dude, I already don't like it. I hate cancel culture now, man. They canceled fucking Falcon and Winter Soldier. What it was supposed to be. Yeah.
I mean, but that's not cancel. That's just sensitivity, right?
But it's funny if I say cancel culture for that, Larry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I was being obsequious.
Also, it makes the way
he got me with that word. I was like, oh.
I don't think I even used it right.
You did not. You did not. Definitely not. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Got to dodge that obsequious. Go ahead, Oz. I'm sorry.
The way that show came out, though, with the Super Soldier Serum, really gave Zemo like one of the best moments of a character. When he has the serum and he just busts it, you for a minute you think he's probably gonna take it because that's what a villain would do, but he's Zemo and he's so against it that he just trashes all of them. It's an amazing moment. I really like that episode.
Yeah, I mean it was good overall. I would have liked it better if it was the original plot.
Yeah.
So.
And go ahead, Jay.
Having like mine's changed about movies I've seen. I was talking to Michael about Mortal Kombat, and he dropped this fact on me that I didn't even think about. So when Chirac was talking to Kano, he tells Kano like think of a number and then double it, and double that. That's what we're gonna pay you. And when he fights with Sonya, he tells Sonya he's getting paid $3 million.
That fool was getting paid like tree fitting.
So that means that dude said, when you said think of a number, he was like 750,000.
Kano's about them small potatoes. Leslie did the math in his head, like, damn, this fool's lowballed like a son of a bitch, huh? Huh?
That was Michael that did.
Oh, Michael. I'm sorry. Michael. Right. That makes more sense. Michael would be the one that would do that math in his head, be like, you doubled your price and then doubled it again and only got to $3 million?
Which, I mean, he was supposed to be getting $2 million from Sonya. So it's like you would think you would start there, like $2 million, and then double that.
Right.
But he was like, nah, 750,000.
He's like, my going mercenary rate is. He's like, I'm very reasonable. This is why I'm one of the best mercenaries in the best mercs in the business. Because my rates are top notch, especially considering the value from the work that I give. He's like 5-star me on Yelp. He's like, please write a review. I'd appreciate it if you go ahead and tell them how reasonable my rates are.
He's gonna walk around with that little sticker on his on his. They love me on Yelp.
There it is. They love me on Yelp. They love Kano on Yelp.
Yeah.
Like, look for the Groupon. Kano's like, look, 2 assassinations for the price of 1.
Yeah.
Like, you're wondering if you have enough money to kill your boss and your wife? Oh, you damn sure you do.
Everybody must go. Crazy Kano,
yeah,
mercenary.
Right, crazy Kano. Like, oh, the bullet, the wavy Kano. It's like, we're slashing people. No.
Stab them deep and drop them cheap.
Look, I like how quick you came up with that. It was like Oz came up with that so quick that his mind didn't figure it all out before he started talking. Like, like that was amazing. Like you salvaged it, Oz. Good job. Like, dude.
I think we've known each other long enough to know that I start talking way before I start talking.
Also, too, I gotta go ahead and this is like going back a little bit, but I gotta give you props, Oz, publicly, which, you know, because I hadn't gotten the opportunity to do it privately yet, but I think I would have waited anyway. But yeah, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale ended up being really amazing. So if you all haven't seen that yet, I know that we've mentioned it 3-4 times already, but there's a reason. Go check out that series. The finale was fantastic. Oz, you did an amazing job with it, editing and pulling it all together. Mo, amazing job as well for doing all of the like production and, you know, I mean, yeah, basically like you were the EP on that joint. Like that would not have happened without you. So yeah, thank you so much, both of you, man. It was amazing stuff. Good times. Good times. So yeah, check it out, people. You'll like it. You'll like it.
Too bad you're gonna fire us.
Exactly. That's it. Too bad. So sad.
You're gonna give us a recommendation for the next gig.
Right. I'll 5-star y'all on Yelp. Like those guys are all right.
Tiger Claw chat says, anyone watch the first episode of Star Wars: The Bad Batch? If you're into Clone Wars series, you might be into this or into it.
Look, that's a good opportunity for us to mention. Jump into chat and say hello. Wish Moses a happy birthday as well, or call in. Like you can go to fantasticforum.live and call in if you want to do that. If you want to wish Mo a happy birthday, verbally or on camera or just audio, whatever. Yeah. We could do all that. Did anybody watch the Bad Batch yet?
I did.
Wait until Friday.
You're gonna wait till Friday because you like more episodes Friday, so you're gonna just do it all at once. You're like F May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Joe's like, I don't celebrate that. He's like, that's not my religion.
You know, I'm about. No, never mind. Go ahead.
What was Jay? Was Jay about to like sin against Star Wars or something? What was he about to do just now? Was he about to spoil something?
No, I saw this great meme, and I thought of Nia. Immediately when I heard it, or when I read it, and I'm not smart enough to say it to you, but Nia would be, and it's basically there are two kinds of nerds, and it's a guy's like asking a guy a question. He's like, "May the Force," and then instead of saying "be with you," he like gives out the equation for force.
Yeah. Right. That's awesome.
Mass times acceleration.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's hilarious.
I've been studying.
Is Bad Batch coming out weekly, or are they putting everything all out at once?
Weekly.
Weekly.
Okay, I figured.
Yeah. What did you think, Mo? Oh, sorry, I got you mid-trip. Man, you really switched off that arrogant bastard, didn't you? You were like, bump that. Like, let me go. You're like, let me get this tall boy.
The thing about it is that it's stronger than your average whiskey. So if I drink that throughout the night, it's gonna be a lot, and I got to work in the morning. So
I hear you. Look, there it is. Like that's how you know this fool is older.
Yeah.
He's all responsible. He's like, man, I can't be out here like all.
Look, you started the show with I took a nap. It's amazing the difference a day makes.
Exactly.
But I drank half that bottle last night while I was watching Bad Batch.
There you go.
And I watched it, and then I watched the episode of Clone Wars where they came out. I really enjoyed Bad Batch a lot.
Did you not watch that Clone Wars episode before, or did you?
I'm not caught up. So,
got you.
So I didn't know anything about them other than how they looked. And
right.
By that, I was sold. And then the kind of the story behind them and watching that episode, after watching the premiere, was really cool, and I really enjoyed both of those, and I can't wait to catch up. But
no, dude, since I remember watching the episode with them in it, and I'm like, dude, like these characters are the best, and I was like, by the end of it, I was like, oh, they made these guys to spin them out, like no question, like in my mind, like I didn't know that at the beginning of the episode, but by the end of the episode, I was like, oh, I'm all in on these guys. I'm like, I want. They need their own series. That must be what they were created for. Like, this is a backdoor pilot. Like, let's do it. And sure enough, it came like not long after that because, yeah, they're that good. Everybody instantly loved them. I got pre-orders for toys already.
Nice. I said that when we were watching it with Emily.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
yeah,
I can't wait to get all the toys.
Oh, dude, you need to go ahead and get a pre-order in because I think they're going to sell out.
Yeah,
honestly. So especially like now that the show's out, it's like there could be more people looking for them. Like I've been had pre-orders already, and the messed up part is I don't think all of them are available for pre-order yet. There's still like I think one or two of them that they haven't like put out for pre-order yet. I don't know if they're waiting for the show or what, but I'm just like I would have liked to have had that opportunity before the show came out, but whatever, Yes, El Hecht. Tell the people where you're calling from and what you want to talk about, my friend.
I'm calling from my room. I want to talk about all this 5G goodness I got now.
Wait.
Since I got the vaccine.
You're hilarious. I was like, oh, look, I knew you weren't talking about your internet because I don't know what's happening with your audio right now. I was like, uh-oh, you sound like Max Hedron a little bit. You sound like you're auto-tuned.
I have a lot of things going on.
Look, and here's the thing. I don't think you sound bad, mind you. Like it's not like you know how Fantastic Forum rolls. Like we would have totally already been like, okay, heck, call us back. Yeah. So you don't sound bad, but something's different. I almost would have felt like it was intentional if it was somebody else. I knew you wouldn't be doing this, but if someone else, I might be like, oh, so you just like T-painting it up, huh? Okay.
Hey, sometimes I want to sound good.
There it is, right? You fell in love with a stripper. It happens.
It's for Mo for his birthday. I want to.
He's Roger Troutman in you. He's like, happy birthday, happy birthday.
I do the Maryland thing, but I don't got the dress for it, so fuck that.
So you're all vaccinated up now.
I got half of it.
Half of it. Okay. Look. So Bill Gates can't track you quite yet.
Well, he's got a general area, but
got it.
Can't pinpoint me.
not within the 5 yards yet. Like
yeah, right, exactly.
Got it.
Never mind. There's like 3 cell towers near work.
Word.
The thing about it now is that now he doesn't know who's going to be tracking him, Melinda or Bill.
Right. Yeah, man.
I like all the babies they eat.
It's going to be Bill and the Queen, apparently.
Bill and the Queen? Which Queen?
Oh, you haven't seen that? You haven't seen that meme? The Queen's single, Bill's single.
Oh no! You better stop it. What? What? Wow! Wow! That's not right. That's hilarious.
It's about to be royalty, man.
There it is. First Megan, and now this, huh?
Yep.
King Bill. He's like, this is what it's all been for.
Royal windows. That's what we're gonna get.
It's so weird because she said something like it's irreparable, beyond reparation or something, like deciding the reason for the divorce. And I'm like Bill Gates, like, who's he fucking other than his wife? Like, I didn't think he even fucked her. Like, you look at that guy. That guy's like, Larry says he doesn't beat off. Bill Gates doesn't have to say he doesn't beat off. Like,
that's hilarious.
Kid, though, do they not have a kid?
Hey, I mean, look, they bought that kid from somebody. Like,
Michael Jackson had a kid. I mean, that's you're not telling me anything.
Hey,
Dude
man.
named his company after his dick.
Wait, what?
Think about it. Microsoft.
I got it.
I was like, what? Like, here the Mensa part was, I was like, Windows? No, I don't know why that was way in my head.
I went there first too. I was like, Windows.
Yeah, like Windows? Like, why is
Wait,
Windows?
no, I get it now.
That doesn't make any sense. No. That's funny. So, yeah, man. But
I even got a drink in honor of Mo.
As you should have. We appreciate you, Heck. We're happy you're here to celebrate with us.
But I'm
what are you sipping on?
super. I got Tang mixed with Bacardi because I'm.
Dang, Heck.
Mo.
Yeah.
Mo. Wait, I'm like,
Mo.
look, you definitely covered the. Oh Lord, I don't know what Mo's doing.
Yeah,
I
thought had it. I think it's hitting Mo.
my finger in it.
But wait, can we just go ahead and focus in on the fact that Heck said he's drinking Tang mixed with Bacardi? I'm like, dude,
Tang.
I had no
Tang.
idea. You said Tang, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tang.
Okay. What'd you say?
Yeah, the orange powder.
No, I know what Tang is. I'm just like,
You mix it with alcohol.
It's from space.
Yeah.
oh, listen. I'm just saying, like, I didn't realize that Hecht was that hood. I knew Hecht was hood. I didn't know he was that hood. Tang mixed with Bacardi? Say what?
I didn't even realize they still made Tang. I haven't seen it in the store in a long time.
Listen, they don't. Heck took it from his own personal stockpile for special occasions.
But let me explain this to you. Tang in this day and age is a delicacy because that shit's expensive.
Because they don't make it anymore. I remember when they used to make it, like, Al Bundy be having Tang, which is it was so abundant. Now, like, you mix it with a shot.
No, this is.
Did
this
you
is
guys
delicacy.
ever try to make the Tang witch?
The what?
Me neither.
He's so crazy, bro. That Tangwich.
I think we've all tried to make a Tang.
Yeah.
And anybody who says they didn't is either a liar or way too young to know what we're talking about.
They're mad at
Yeah.
They're mad at Heck in chat because he doesn't have a camera. But
No, get over it. You can see my streams on Twitch where you can't see me. I'm like John Cena right now.
Oh, dang.
Look, you got my beautiful
Who
face
said
there.
that? Who said that? No, I guess it doesn't. Like, I have to be able to hear you, though, right? I just can't see you.
Exactly.
Okay, I can still hear him.
I'm the ghost of Mexican past.
Of Mexican
With
past?
this Tang. All this Tang.
Listen, if that shouldn't be a soundbite, I don't know what should be. Like, with this Tang, all that Tang. I was like, whoa. Dang, I didn't even know what the heck's talking about. But guess what? I like it. I'm down for that.
That's the title.
Right. I'm Mayor Young, and I endorse that message.
I don't have the soundboard because I had everything on the card and I didn't put the card in the computer.
No, listen. Nobody even asked you the question. Where's the soundboard?
It's
Mo, it's your birthday, Mo. Give yourself a break, man. We're all trying to be nice to you. I need you to be nice to yourself, man. Come on, give yourself a break. Can you have an off day on your birthday? Is that okay? Can you relax?
I took a nap already. What more do you want? 20 minutes. Actually, I was out cold. Emily was waking me up, and I wouldn't wake up. But usually I take a 20 on the dot. Close my eyes, wake up 20 minutes later. But I did that yesterday too.
Wow.
It's fun being old. All that napping.
There it is.
And all that.
Tell Emily thank you for making sure you actually came to the show today. It would have been a bummer if you didn't. I'd be like, dang, what happened to Mo? I wouldn't be like mad at you because it's your birthday. So I'm just like, well, obviously he must be doing something fun. But I'd be like, you know what makes a Mo-centered birthday show a lot less fun? No Mo.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like though that if we get to talk about Martian niggers, that kind of, I think that could make up for it.
I'm sorry, Martian what?
See, and this is why the show like it's better with Mo here, so that Mo can chastise Oz for not having read Preacher.
Oh no, I thought he said Martian word I need to bleep out.
Look, that's the thing.
Like it was either a combination of Martian and Schwarzenegger or Martian and no Schwarza. That's just what I heard. I wanted to make sure.
Martian Nicaraguan.
I'm drinking, man. Don't be doing that while I'm drinking. Like, give me a heads up.
That's
do the symbol so I know not to drink. You about to say something funny? So do something. Show me the sign.
You know, all I say is funny shit.
I watched the entire Preacher.
Yeah,
but read. I gotta read.
Yeah, I read that years ago. I don't read stuff twice.
If I can quote Mo for a moment, read fucking comics.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I did read them long time ago. Reading them twice is just redundant, though. I got other stuff to read.
You're redundant.
I didn't want the comic book to ruin my TV show experience.
And here's the thing. I tried watching the show. I tried watching it on 3 separate times, and today was the 3rd time. And I'm like, I got to be out my goddamn mind, like suggesting that we do this side by side comparison. Like, I couldn't stick with it. I was like, what the fuck? Like
the show was,
Larry's like, you got to be good to yourself. And I'm like, why am I torturing myself on my birthday?
Absolutely. Like, I'm not mad at you.
But
I was genuinely shocked when you suggested it because
I wanted, I figured it's gone now because it's not coming back, right? It's gone.
It's gone, yeah.
Yes, I figured, there's no harm in watching it, and what if I enjoy parts of it, like, because I've been seeing stuff like Resident Alien, we're going to talk about in a little bit, and it's like, maybe if it's comic, it can still be good, and then this is a travesty.
There's just certain things that once that era is done, you do not need to revisit. The Preacher is one of them, the TV show. Mein Kampf, I think that's 2. I think that's the end of the list.
It is interesting because I know for me, I was like, oh, okay, like we're gonna read Preacher and then we're gonna talk about the TV show. And I'm like, I didn't watch much of the TV show, so I'm like, I'll check that out. And I'm like, I'll relook at some of these comics, but I had felt like, for whatever reason, I had felt like I had read Preacher.
Yeah.
Like, not all of it, but, enough of it.
Yeah.
And then I went back to the comic, and I was like, I don't know if I read this. And I was like, like, I'm not sure I read this. Like, and I was like, oh, man. I think I got, 3 issues in before I was like, dude, I didn't read Preacher. And I feel like there was a point where I was supposed to read Preacher, and I started it, but I don't think I got to finish it for whatever reason. And in my mind, all this time, I thought no, I've read Preacher, and I'm like, dude, I hadn't read any Preacher, and I'm like, dude, this is crazy, and I felt bad because I'm like, it's a great book,
yeah,
and I'm like, I need to read it all.
and that creative team, Steve Dillon,
Yeah.
Dennis, like, you know, it was that's a part of revisiting after the era that was great for me. Like reading that first arc,
Mm-hmm.
it was a joy. And there's parts of it, like you said, Larry, like you feel like you read it, and then you're like, I didn't. And even when I read it again, I'm like, I like it feels like the first time. Like,
Yeah.
it's very, you know, I don't know how that would be done today.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But
Right.
it's like you know me, I don't care. Like Garth Ennis is
Right.
making legislation.
That's true. That's true. And keeping in mind too that I mean we're talking about like some mid '90s stuff,
Right?
so like that's a whole like the mid '90s might as well be like a different planet. You know, I'm just like it's crazy to think that now because it doesn't like for someone like myself, I don't think of the mid '90s as like that long ago. It's definitely in the past, but I don't think of it like oh the mid '90s like. But it's crazy though because like I remember like somebody actually said to me, and I was mentioning this earlier today, where they were like, if you're old enough to drink alcohol, you were born in the late 20th century.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you say it like that, it makes it sound like it was a long ass time ago, the late 20th century. Like, god damn. Like, what do you mean? But the preacher, the comic came out in the late 20th century. You know, so I'm just like, okay, well, guess what? That's why it has what Joe said. I was taken aback. I read it and I was like, what? I was like, what does that even mean? Oh man, it's a lot. Like I don't even want to. Like for whatever reason, like you all know me. I don't really say the N-word much, but for some reason, putting Martian in front of it makes it sound like extra racist.
Yeah, it's like way xenophobic too.
No, dude, it's a whole like right. It's interterrestrial racism.
Yeah,
you know, it's like goddamn. This fool hates people from other planets too. Goddamn, like you know, he's like not just he hates the minorities on other planets. It's like how does he even know? He ain't been there. How does he know which one to hate?
And the thing is, if you like know the Martian Manhunter, then it's like, is this in the DC universe? Like,
there it is. Yeah. Right.
Hey, Martians better get ready. We're getting closer.
Yeah. Now, Larry, you watched the TV show too?
I did.
Yeah. Like, what was the transition? Like, I still can't even answer that question to people. Like, what's the difference? Because I can't get through the first 10 minutes of the TV show.
I mean, it's completely different.
Yeah.
like I understand. Like having read the book now and watched the show, I can understand. Like if you're like, oh, I love Preacher the comic, and I'm excited to watch this TV show, and then you get this show, I can understand why you're like, you'd be like, it doesn't feel like anybody's acting like they're supposed to be acting, and it's not to say the show is bad, mind you, it's just not Preacher,
yeah,
or at least it doesn't feel like it. Like if all you gave it was the first 10 minutes, it's like. Yeah, there's no part of it that's really gonna feel like Preacher to you. Like even like just the way the character looks, you know, like Jesse Custer doesn't have the feel of the guy in the comic, and it's not like the guy in the show like looks bad or uninteresting. It's just it's like it's one of these things where. There's a part of me that's happy that I kind of came to both of these like at the same time. And like I can appreciate both of them for what they do, but like having like I could totally see like if I had read Preacher first and was anticipating a show about that book that I had read and loved, I would be like, yeah, I understand why you can't get through it. Like I can't be mad at you at all because like when you're talking about what are the differences, it's like, I mean, I think the characterization of everybody is the main thing where it's like, Jesse Custer's motivations in this show seemingly are completely different from the motivations of the character in the comic. And there's some maybe similarities personality wise between Jesse and between both Jessies, but like Tulip feels like two completely different characters to me. And while I can say Cassidy maybe has like some similarities, like, you know, where it's like, you know, the like Cassidy is probably the character that comes across as like the most similar to what you would find in the book. He's still different enough that I could see somebody that's a fan just being like, that's not my Cassidy. You know, that's a different version of that character. Obviously it's updated, you know what I'm saying? But still, it's like you can update and still retain the essence of a character, as we know. And I don't know if this necessarily does that. Like, it's its own thing. It's like interesting in its own right, I think. But like, I think not only are the characters different, but then the situation is different too. And so once you get into all basically you're talking about like something that's almost like Preacher in name only. You know, where it's like they called it Preacher and they gave the guy that's playing it.
Pino.
Say what?
Pino.
Yes, in fact, Pino. You're right. They gave him the right costume, like he's wearing the right outfit. But, you know, outside of that, it's like he's, you know, it's like they're doing completely different things. So I don't know. Maybe you all feel different about it. What do you all think that got, you know, that actually did watch it and read it before me?
Again, I only got through 10 minutes of it, so but I made my opinions. I mean, you saw me that Comic-Con when I was yelling about how terrible it was.
I remember.
I went like on a 2-hour rant of just how bad it was.
Yeah, I think we just all sat and listened to you.
I just couldn't, like, I knew it wasn't it. So I was faithful that I can get my point across and still be correct about it. But I mean, Joe, did you get to watch it too?
I did not.
Okay, but you read it.
Yeah.
Okay. That was, well, how'd you like it for one?
I like the art.
Uh-huh.
As far as the story, I liked it, but no, I think I liked it. It's like part of me was a little, I'm not sure what reserved in my enjoyment of it, like just because of the subject matter. I wasn't like 100% pre on board, but as I was reading it, I started to get more and more interested in what was happening. So it's like overall, I am glad that I read it, and I'm gonna keep reading it. The first 4 books are on Comixology Unlimited.
Oh, nice.
So, you know, I downloaded those and I'm reading through them. And yeah, I think I actually like this book. Like, the characters are really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially Arseface.
Yeah.
I don't know, there's something about, he's so innocent. It's kind of crazy.
And that character, they changed on the TV show a lot. Sorry. Yeah. That they changed that character on the TV show a lot. Like, I was mad when I saw what they did with him. And it just, that was a travesty in and of itself. But at least they got the look, kind of.
Yeah.
I didn't know how they were gonna pull that off. But yeah, I do that character in the comics, dude. Like, yeah, and his motivations and shit too are are add to that, like, let's say, soul of that book and that story, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's really interesting. Just like, I mean, I guess it's like the problem. What year did they make that Preacher TV show?
I think 2016.
Okay, and I guess that's probably the main problem with the show, where it's like you make it. And here's the thing: it's not that it's made in 2016; it's that it's set in like 2016. You know what I mean? Like, it's set in modern day, and it's like it kind of feels like a bit of what, like a bit of what makes Preacher is that era.
Yeah,
you know, and it's kind of like, it's not like everything has to happen in that time, but you definitely, like, characters have motivations that stem from like some of the things that happen. Like, even just talking about like Arseface, right? Arseface. Like, but you know, it's like, yeah, like he can't like do what he did because of Kurt Cobain in 2016.
yeah.
You know?
Right.
And like, it's just not a reference that would make sense to the majority of the audience at that point in time. And so if you're changing that motivation, now you have a different character, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and you know, I mean, the easy solution to that is make it like a period piece, right? Like, if that's like, if you want to stay as true as you can, like, you could make a 2016 show that's set in the 90s. Like, that can happen. Now, you might say, you know, there are people that are going to be like, oh, well, it's going to be more expensive. And that's true. So, you know, but I blame Seth Rogen.
Yeah, I actually boycotted several years.
Seth Rogen got enough money. That fool been fat and funny long enough that he has money to do a period piece if he wanted to. He just don't love comics. You heard me, Seth.
Yeah, and that's not what he says he does.
Like, if he wasn't high, he'd probably retaliate.
I can't agree that he doesn't love comics. Like, I think he's invincible.
Man. Like, that fool started loving comics in 2019.
Yeah, he started loving comics after he heard me trash Preacher.
Right. He's like, man, maybe I should read these things before I make these shows. Wait, Heck, what did you say?
I said if he wasn't high, he'd probably retaliate.
If he wasn't high, that's hilarious. I feel like Seth Rogen's probably a very functional high person.
Yeah,
he probably is.
But I don't know that. Like, he might just wait. He might just time his stuff very well. Like,
no,
he might have great time. No, he's a functional weed head.
Yeah, because the thing is, when you're at that point with weed is like, it's like Joe, take off your glasses right now. Like, you can see stuff, but you can't see it clearly. You can't focus like you need to. You put them back on, and then you can go about your day more comfortably, right? And that's how weed is to Seth Rogen. Like, it's like
weed is Joe's glasses to Seth Rogen.
Right. It's like putting on his for him, smoking a joint in the morning is like putting on. He can start his day. He can go around his day properly, like wearing a jacket when it's cold. You know, it's part of you at that point.
Right.
And weed is a good, marijuana is a good substance to have that with, because it's not detrimental to your health. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it helps your mental health and things like that. Now, those are all anecdotal. Don't go, you know, because you heard it on Fantastic Four. Well, those Magnum told me, you know, hey, look, there's still legal, there's still jobs you got and laws that you got to obey too, you know. But if you can make a ton of money shitting on comics, you can smoke all day and you still pay the bail when you get pulled over. Yeah.
I'm lighting my first joint right now because most Magnum said it was okay.
Yeah.
If you did that on stream, we'd be canceled.
Why? It's legal here.
Not on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't think
What?
Yeah.
How dare
Just 'cause
YouTube infringe on my freedoms?
Although there were episodes where I hit the vape on cam. They didn't say nothing.
But it's a vape, and you never said
Yeah,
what
it's
was
the
in
same.
it.
Yeah, that's true. Joe, what
Dang,
were you
man.
say something from chat? I'm sorry, we all stepped all over your words.
No, it's all good. Tiger Claw was just saying he has faith in Seth with the animated TMNT movie. It could be good.
I don't know how any of you could possibly believe Seth Rogen is a functional weed guy.
Why not?
Dude smokes weed when he reads comics. And you get Green Hornet. And you get Preacher. I mean,
It was good.
what's that?
Green Hornet was good.
Green Hornet?
Yeah.
You didn't watch the original show or read any comics.
Scenes from the original show in the movie. Like,
I can't even hear Joe. He's too low.
Yeah, Joe, I think your mic's acting up.
how's that?
Oh, that's better.
All right. Yeah, there's a scene from the show in the movie.
I mean, there was also a car with the same name as the one in the show. It doesn't mean it was good. You know, the Preacher was named Preacher, and the guy's name was Jesse Custer. Doesn't make it anything like the book.
Well, I don't know. I watched the marathon when the movie came out. You know, they did a Green Hornet marathon on Sci-Fi, and I watched it, and the movie felt good.
You know, it wasn't like they were. Sorry, Joe. Say that again.
Maybe I'm just, I don't know.
Yeah, you know, it's not like they were remaking The Godfather or Citizen Kane. You know what I mean?
True. It's true. Like Green Hornet isn't great.
Yeah, it's what I tell people about Mortal Kombat. Like, the games are good, the movies can be, but they're what they are, and I don't expect anything less from this new Mortal Kombat. Like, I would be disappointed if it wasn't cheesy. Yeah.
Look, I feel like Jay and I were having a conversation the other day, and I was like, I'm surprised they haven't remade Highlander. Like, I don't like that. Must be a rights thing. Like, somebody must be holding on to those rights hard and want more money than Highlander's worth. Because I'm just like, dude, like, and I'm a fan of Highlander, but it's one of those movies where it's like, dude, that has like the right kind of like nostalgia factor, and it has like a cult following, and the movies that came before it are like cool, like, and understand, as a fan of Highlander, I'm saying that I love those movies. They're not great though, huh?
You don't love the second movie, right?
I mean,
that second movie is weird, man.
It is, but at the same time, it has its place. Like, I guess what I'm saying to you is this: obviously, there are better Highlanders than better Highlander movies than other Highlander movies. Like, we know this. But what I'm saying to you is, the worst Highlander movie isn't that much worse than the best Highlander movie.
I disagree with you on that, sir.
Yeah.
Really? What's the worst?
Strongly.
What's the worst Highlander movie?
Highlander: The Source.
But the source. I mean, the source.
Huh? So the source wasn't that bad.
Well, see. Well, there you go. Look. I rest my case.
It wasn't that bad, but it was the worst of the bad.
Well, yeah, but what's the best Highlander movie then?
Shit.
In your opinion, Hecht?
Hold on, let me think.
There's really only two answers to this.
Fucking Endgame.
Okay, right. And you either say Endgame or the original. Those are the only two acceptable answers. Anyone that says anything else obviously is not watching Highlander, or they're just not watching Highlander. And I'm just saying, like, okay, like I think Endgame is probably the best possible answer. But if somebody's like the original, I give it to. But what I'm saying is, Endgame isn't
award,
right? You said it won the Academy Award?
Yeah, Best Picture. Didn't you see Ricky Bobby?
You are so dumb.
It's proven.
I'm so mad at you for this. What I'm saying is like, is Endgame really that much better of a movie than The Source?
Yes.
But is it though? Really though?
Rewatch them.
Okay, I'll do it. Look, I know The Source is the worst one.
We're gonna have to have a Highlander.
Oh,
wrap up weekly.
yeah, dude. But wait, have you all seen all those Highlander movies?
Nah.
Like Mo and dude,
I've seen all of them in the TV show.
there you go. That's what I'm saying. I'm with you, Oz. And listen, it's like this rich, like to me, I'm just like, there's so many good ideas in Highlander that have never actually been explored in a real way. That, like, in a way where it's like you could totally
they have a multiverse, but they don't explore it at all.
Right. That's what. Look, you could totally reboot the whole thing and make it like a multi-million-dollar franchise, easy.
Get J.J. Abrams on it.
No, I don't know if that's who you want to go with, but you know, like, you know who would like listen, and that's like I'm just saying, like, you could totally just take whoever's like hot right now and reboot Highlander with them, and it would be like, it could be an amazing thing. Like, look, take like Michael B. Jordan and put him with, I don't know who, like Sebastian Stan, and that could be like, those two dudes will put asses in seats for a Highlander movie. And look, it doesn't even matter what the story is.
I'm excited.
Well, I'm not saying it doesn't matter what the story is, but I'm saying, like, people aren't going to come for the story is what I'm saying. But you make the story good, and then you have franchise. You can mess around and make 5 of them. And you don't even need Sebastian Stan and Michael B. Jordan to be in all of them. They could just be in one or the other. They could alternate after the first one. You know what I mean? But anyway, we're talking about Preacher. I'm sorry.
Yeah, look, it's my birthday. We're all about penguins this week.
I think the most accurate impression of comparing the TV show to the comic book that I saw, and I think it goes along with some of the stuff that you guys were saying, especially you, Lawrence, was as I was watching the TV show. At one point, the wife starts walking by, looks at the TV, and gets excited. She's like, "Oh, is this Preacher? That guy looks like Preacher. Is this a Preacher TV show? Oh shit!" Sits down next to me. 5 minutes or so later, gets up, says, "I don't know what the hell's going on. This isn't Preacher."
Yeah, exactly.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's got the look, it's got the names, but it's not really like the book at all.
Right. And if you're a fan of the comic, you're not going to watch this show and be like, "Oh, this is what I've been waiting for." You might like it enough, maybe. And don't get me wrong, like, there's like, here's some things, like, here's a part of the TV show that I appreciated that I felt like the comic kind of, like, I'm not going to say got it wrong, but a part of it where it's like the comic probably could have done a better job of it, and the TV show does, is like the whole concept of like being able to have like the word of God and like being able to like speak like with that kind of gravity and like you know, like to speak things into existence and control things, right? It's like the TV show like slow walks into that concept and makes it so that not only does like Jesse not understand that it's what he's doing at first, but even like the idea of him like kind of coming to terms with the idea that that's what he has and what he's doing. That makes sense to me. And in the comic, it feels like he becomes very comfortable with the idea that that's what he is and what he's doing. Like, well, I don't maybe comfortable is not the right word, but he accepts it quickly. You know, where it's like he does it, and then somebody says it, and then that's just what it is. And everybody in the circle is just like, yeah, it's like the word of God. Like, what you do, the word of God. And it's like, well, some people, like people should have a little bit of like, they should be taken aback by that a little bit, right? And in the comic, they're not taken aback by it, at least not at first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's an improvement that the show actually made on that particular concept. Now,
the actual
again,
like word of God power, like when they show it, is it actually like that, or is it like the comic, or is it different?
I mean, I would say it's similar enough to the comic, but I don't know. What do you think, Jay?
Do his eyes glow in the TV series?
Wait, does what?
Do his eyes glow?
No, his voice just gets deep.
No.
So they fucked it up.
I mean, but
when he actually uses the power, it sounds like he's trying to imitate Batman.
So they're fucked
but
up.
But I don't feel like. But it's like, I mean, okay. If we're gonna say he messed it up because his eyes don't glow, I'll give you that, I guess. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, like in the comic, they give you a visual cue because you can't hear it. In the show, they give you an audio cue because you can't. It's two different mediums. You know what I mean?
I've heard audio cues in writing. If you've watched Discworld or read Discworld, whenever Death speaks, there's a cue, an audio cue in writing. Like when he speaks in all caps. And his niece does too. Well, when she wants to. Like with Death, it's a default. But with her, she can do it when she wants to.
But that's not an audio cue in writing. It's a visual cue.
So if that's what they wanted, if that's what Garth Ennis wanted to imply, then he would have did the same thing in the comic. He would have like made the words bold or a different font, like something.
I hear that,
but he doesn't. Now, what I can say is, yes, you are right. Everyone in the comic does take things super easy. Like, they are real quick to accept most things. I mean, there's only one character, like the FBI guy, is the only one that asks questions. Like, hey, they said that happened. Okay. Oh, you just did that. Okay, don't do it again.
Right.
Like, yeah, everyone's just on board. And I honestly don't have a problem with them doing it that way.
Especially in 1995.
But I think for me, it's kind of like there's so many stories, movies, TV shows, whatever, where everyone is like so, like, they just deny what's right in front of their eyes.
Right.
Like, for so hard and so long. It's like, dude, the shit is happening.
Right.
So it's nice every once in a while to do, like, everyone is just on board. It's like, that's one of the reasons my favorite scene in From Dusk Till Dawn is when the dude is like, I don't believe in vampires, but I believe in my eye. And my eyes saw vampires.
Right.
You see what's happening, so just go with it. Like,
right.
See, but that's one of the that's also a downside to the TV show, because while they take the time to kind of feel, the word of God power that this guy has, they find out Cassidy's a vampire. Okay, so you're hurt, you need blood. Okay, hey, we're talking to Jesus right now, like actual Jesus is telling us why he can't be the Messiah, and we need Humperdew, which is another, like, all this is just like, okay, sure, that's the last episode. Jesse Custer is sitting in a lawn chair having a conversation with God, like, just whatever, Jesse Custer goes to heaven. There's God's throne, and he's just like, okay, All right. It's so the only thing that confuses them is Jesse having the power. And then everything else is just right back to, hey, well, okay, here.
In the show, God was in heaven?
No, he was on Earth.
Okay.
I get, is it a spoiler?
I mean, nobody saw it.
Book
That's
is like
why
30 years old. Like,
yeah.
No, he's talking about the TV show, which was 2016. But that's still 5 years old.
yeah. Like, go for it.
It's my birthday. Spoil it.
He's on Earth through the entire series, but in the last episode, after his conversation with Jesse, because Jesse figures out that the whole reason God did everything was to have people to love him, and kind of rejects him. God goes back to heaven where the saint of killers is waiting and shoots God in the head, and kind of just takes over the throne.
Dick move.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't want to spoil the comic, but that's similar. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So look, you love it, Mo. You love it. You didn't even realize. It's everything you ever wanted in a preacher, man. You didn't even know. You gotta watch 20 minutes at least now.
Well,
in the comic, was God setting off the apocalypse so he can just like restart because he was done with humans? Was that his motivation?
I think he just stopped caring, and Jesse's whole thing is like, I gotta hold him accountable, you know. But the apocalypse thing wasn't. It was different. There were actually people trying to bring about the second coming, and Jesse was in the way of that because Jesse is now the more powerful being in the universe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, but I mean, like Lauren said, the motivation for the characters are just completely different.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I remember, because the last time I read Preacher was years ago, but I remember Arseface hated Jesse because Jesse is the one that caused his dad to die, right? By effing himself.
He told him to go fuck himself. God.
I think he does. There is that scene where he does do that to the sheriff, but that wasn't like Arseface never hated Preacher throughout the whole series. He actually looks up to Preacher and as a kind of guide, even when he's hanging out with Hitler and Hitler's trying to convince him that Jesse's bad. He never actually sees Jesse as a bad guy. Where I remember in the book, like he hated him.
Yeah.
Listen, I need to watch more of this show and read more of this comic. I'm like, God damn! Like, wait, what's happening now? I was like, what? Like, listen, this sounds interesting as hell.
Hitler gets in a fight with Jesus at one point.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I hope Jesus wins, but I know he doesn't.
The comic has a lot of good shit that you've seen aspects of Preacher in the stuff that you like, that you watch on TV, like your Supernatural. That whole like going in an old car across the country, like stopping monsters. Like,
yeah,
there's a section of Preacher where it's just that, like they take a break from trying to get to God because they're on the run and they end up like stopping monsters and vampires.
Right.
And, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing where it's like, because I like, you know, again, it's like I realized now, like, oh damn, I didn't read Preacher, but a part of that too is just because I know comics and I know what Preacher's about, and I know that Preacher like is like, I know the book is about him trying to find God, and eventually he does. Like I know a lot of the story beats of Preacher, and I thought I knew that because I had read a portion of it, but apparently it's just because it's like all through comic book osmosis.
Yeah.
And like talking to people about Preacher, because Preacher is one of those books that if you're a comic book fan, you've read. And apparently I'm a bad comic book fan because I haven't read any Preacher until now. And so I'm like, oh, well, I don't know if I'm officially a poser because I haven't read Preacher, but I guess I gotta rectify it. You know, that's basically the long and the short of it. Where I'm like, okay, well, I'm reading it now, so get off my nuts.
Yeah, and important to note that Seth Rogen got so much criticism after season 1 that he proclaimed it a prequel and tried to get more. Season 2, he tried to get more in line with the comic and the road trip and all that. It doesn't get you quite there, but I mean, the show itself on its own, if the comic never existed, it would be entertaining.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. The show's entertaining.
It wouldn't exist.
Well, I guess that's the other part of it. You're right. Like, it would not exist.
If you would have came up with this show and the comic didn't exist, we would be sitting here talking about what an entertaining show it was. Because it's funny and it's great, but the fact that he was trying to reproduce such a great comic book and failed so miserably at it kind of takes a little bit away from it. But if you haven't read it, which you should definitely. Especially since Joe said, what, four of the books are free right now?
They're unlimited.
Yeah, you have to subscribe to their service. But their service is cheap.
Yeah, it definitely start checking those out.
But the backlash that he got from Preacher is probably why Invincible sticks very close to the source material.
It tries, yeah.
Jay, listen.
Except for
no one has time for your friggin' bikini line Adam Eve nitpicks. No one has time for that, Jay.
Like they didn't do the mall bombings.
Jay, no one has time for your Adam Eve bikini line. Listen, she's wearing friggin' boxer briefs, and that's okay, Jay.
I have a little bit of time.
She's a woman.
I got time too.
You can still see the bottom of her butt cheek, Jay. Just be happy with that, Jay. Be happy with the bottom of the butt cheek.
No, I need bikini.
I feel like I've been very fair with all the costume changes.
What do you mean all the? What are all the? You mean the? Or which ones? Well, who else?
Monster Girl. They changed her costume. She's wearing pants.
Quick Invincible question. Because I didn't read a lot of those books.
Poser.
So Omni-Man has been known to this government agency for what, 20 years? Something like that? Long time, right?
Yeah.
This agency that specializes in superheroes, and they have their own team. They run the Guardians of whatever.
Of the globe.
Yeah, whatever.
The globe, Oz. Look at the alliteration.
Bootleg Snyder Cut.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, here's my point. They know Omni-Man. They've known him for years. They know what he can do. They know his strengths. They know he has no weaknesses. In the comic book, because they did this in the show, when they realize what Omni-Man has done, do they try to shoot him with regular ass bullets? Like that's gonna do something?
No.
Okay. Cause that was one of the dumbest things I've seen. Like I understand if a criminal tries to shoot Omni-Man because criminals are dumb and the adrenaline and all that, but trained soldiers of a government agency that has known about this person for decades is still trying to shoot regular ass bullets at him, kind of didn't sit right with me.
See, in the comic, they find out, it's basically Mark and Omni-Man are kind of just hanging out, and then the Immortal attacks, and he kills the Immortal, and Mark is like, "What'd you do?" And then their whole scuffle happens. The whole countdown with the Omni-Man trying to get to Mark is something for the TV show. That doesn't happen in the comic.
Right. It just bugged me because they're shooting at him with regular bullets when in the same scene, they blow up the house and specifically say, well, that might, take them down for a few seconds. They know that's not going to take them out. They know that the satellite hammer thing isn't going to take them down. Like they know this guy is not going to go down that easy. I don't understand why these agents are sitting there going pew 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 pew.
Yeah,
that always bugs me. It's kind of like there's an old Superman where the criminal shoots at Superman and the bullets are bouncing off. He's like, haha, Superman. And then the gun like runs out of bullets, so he throws the gun and Superman's like, whoa. Like just kind of dodges, like stuff like that always kind of bug me.
Dude, it's the best part of that old stuff.
That TV show was in the 50s. I can understand. This is an animated series in 2021. I think we can do better.
I feel like Omni-Man should dodge the gun too. They should look. That would have been like the real homage if they're like, damn, we're not getting him, and they throw like the whole machine gun at him, and he goes, ah. That would have been amazing. Like I would have given Seth Rogen props.
I would have expected them to have some special gun that kind of like I don't expect it to do anything to him because he's so powerful, but at least at least you're trying. Like when Home Dude shows up with his special gun that actually, it doesn't do much to Omni-Man, but at least it's like, well, he feels it a little bit,
Right.
Like, both soldiers should have had that gun.
That's fair. The messed up part is, I will tell you all, I don't know what happened, but for some reason I felt like the finale for Invincible was like the week before. I totally missed the idea even though like I knew, like I had it scheduled out that the Invincible finale was like this past weekend. But for some reason, I had like somehow erased that from my memory and felt like the weekend before was the finale. So I didn't even get to watch the finale until like Sunday. But it was amazing. I was just like, wow, so good.
I'm not caught up.
What?
He's just watching Preacher.
It had literally like one of the best action scenes in like ever, kind of.
Wait, no. There's literally a moment in this joint, Moses, where I was like, "Oh, can we just rewind that real quick so I can look?" Like there was a point where they were like shooting like some missiles at this fool from a plane, and I was like, "Oh, dude, like the animation is so good." Like it was, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of like back in the day with like Macross, where they have like the missile bays that like they shoot like friggin' the enemy shoots like all these missiles out of their missile bays, and you have like a Veritech fighter that like does these barrel rolls around all these missiles, and you're like, wow, like you look at it and you're just like, that's so beautiful. It's like it feels like art. You know what I mean? And there's a scene in the Invincible finale where Omni-Man does that same thing where I'm like, oh dude, it's like art. I'm like, oh my god.
It got renewed for 3 seasons now.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I just should.
Finale, I had to look it up, like to see like if it had been like canceled or if there was any word.
No, it's perfect. Like the idea that we're guaranteed 2 more seasons of this makes perfect sense to me, except for the fact that it's like, well, why isn't it like 3 or 4 more seasons? Because there's enough Invincible for it. So it's like, what's the hesitation exactly? Like damn it, Amazon.
Well, it's not so much that, it's the in TV, now that I'm in the business, you can't.
Right.
You don't want to. The talent doesn't want to sign a contract for too long because they want to make the most money they can. So doing a 3 season, that might be. I remember Kim Cattrall said in when she was talking about Sex in the City, like she renewed a year at a time and that's how she made the most money she could. And even look, they'd kill her off if they didn't want her back or whatever. But she did a year contract at a time. One thing is guaranteed work, the other was guaranteed money.
Right. No, I hear that.
So
and that, look, I'm not mad. Look, I will say this. I'm like J.K. Simmons. I wonder. I'm like, when I read Invincible as a book, his voice is the voice I had in my head. So I'm like, did he like go into my mind and become Omni-Man? Or was I thinking about him when I was reading the book? I don't know what's going. Either way, I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because either J.K. Simmons can read minds, or I have a hard on for him from before and I didn't even realize it. I don't know what it is.
Oh, you had
either
a hard
way. Right. No, he's amazing as an actor, and I knew that already. But I'm just like, damn, like, it's like when from day one, like episode 1, I was just like, dude, like that's what Omni-Man sounds like. And it turns out, and I'm not like, I know, like, again, J.K. Simmons, whether you're talking about him in Spider-Man or you're talking about him in like Counterpart, like the dude is an amazing actor. We all know this. Nobody is like, oh, can J.K. Simmons act or not? No one, or at least nobody with any sense asked these questions. But I'm like, his performance for Omni-Man is so good. It's ridiculously good. And that's the messed up part, where it's like, it's ridiculously good in a cast of people where everybody's awesome. Like the Invincible cast, the ensemble cast of Invincible is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, everybody's good.
Yeah.
I'm so mad at it, honestly. Like, I feel like there's a show somewhere that probably needs like a little bit of talent that couldn't get it because Invincible took it all. And that's, I mean, I can't be mad at it, but I'm just like, dude, it's unfortunate because that show would have been good if they could have got like 1 or 2 Invincible cast members, but they couldn't because they were taken.
Kevin James's sitcom on Netflix sucks because of that.
Well, there you go, boom. And or it could be Kevin James.
Hey, what
I'm not saying. I'm not saying Kevin James is like terrible, but I'm saying that Kevin James is not necessarily the reason you watch a Kevin James thing. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, like,
fat people alone, Larry. Leave handsome fat people alone, Larry.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
It's our birthday.
It's Heck's birthday too?
Look, I'll take it.
Whoa! Shots fired. I'm sorry, Heck. I didn't call you handsome though.
Hey. Yeah, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Look, I know. Look, I seen you.
One last question on Preacher before we move on, and Oz, I'll let you get back to it. But the question I have for you that watched the show and read the comics, the handling of Genesis as an entity, as a character, how was that on the TV show compared to the comics?
I'll let you all answer first, whether it be Jay, Oz, like whoever wants to talk about it.
I didn't see the show, so.
Oh, that's fair. Well, okay. Oz, do you remember watching the show?
I remember it in the TV show, and it was an entity. I don't remember if in the comic they were able to take it away from Jesse Custard, but they were in the show. They were able to take it away for a little bit because it was the soul of a child born of an angel and demon.
Now, do they feel out of it being a new idea?
Yeah, there's actually a couple angels that come down specifically to hunt Genesis because it's not something that's supposed to exist because angels and demons are not supposed to get together like that. So they know it's a thing that's that exists that's not supposed to, and they know where it comes from.
I mean, I will say that, like, the way they describe it in the comic is the way they describe it in the comic is how they depict it in the show, but how they actually show it in the comic isn't how they depict it in the show. So it's like one of these things where it's like, it's kind of like a, you know, like,
well, it's like you said, audio versus visual cue.
Right, exactly. Right. Where what the words they actually use in the comic feels like it informed what they actually create in the show, but they don't necessarily take any cues from what was actually drawn. So it's one of these things where it kind of depends on how you're looking at it, whether you feel like that was like a good depiction of Genesis or not, in my opinion. Because, and keeping in mind that, you know, I'm early in the books and early in the show, but like being a person, like I like, it was interesting because I know for me, I literally like kind of bounced back and forth between like the first 3 or 4 episodes and the first, you know, like 5 or 6 issues. And it's like what they said Genesis was in the book is actually a pretty accurate depiction of what they created in the TV show. But how they decided to manifest that visually in the comic book is not the same thing. So, you know, you might read the comic and be like, well, I wanted Genesis to look like how it looks in the book. Keeping in mind, of course, that it's definitely an abstract-ish kind of concept.
Yeah.
And it's like the book has to obviously show it visually because it's a visual medium, because it's a comic book. The TV show has more tools at its disposal. They can, like, the way the way they show it in the TV show is a lot less visual, but it still has a visual component along with the audio component. And, you know, because it's in motion, there are things that it can do that a comic book can't. And so, yeah, like I like, because I got to experience them both basically simultaneously, bouncing back and forth between the two, I'm like, I get it. It makes sense to me in one medium versus the other. So, you know, I wasn't angry at it in any way, shape, or form. But it was interesting, though, because, like I said, I read the book first, and there was, like, there are aspects of it, like, because they talk about, like, Genesis having, like, a baby face or whatnot, or the face of a child or something like that. I don't remember what the exact wording is, but they talk about that. And in the show, you hear the cry of the child, you know? And it's like, that's not something that they actually do in the book because it's a comic book and they chose not to, like, actually have, like, the cry onomatopoeia, which I can understand because a baby cry is not like a short word, you know? If you're actually trying to get a baby cry, it's like, dude, you could go panels for a baby cry if you really want to, you know? But because they were making a TV show, they're like, oh, all our kids are crying because none of us are at home because we're making TV shows. And they just record it and then they put it in the show. Which is really a dark thought. That they're actually, it's like actual cries of their actual children because they're never at home. Sorry.
That is pretty funny.
Happy birthday. Oz, what were you going to say before I interrupted you with that question?
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
sorry.
before we move on, there's another adaptation that I would like to talk about, and it's Sweet Tooth. But so I don't start crying when I'm talking to you about it. I pre-recorded a thing, so I'll do it real quick if I can.
Yeah, let's do it.
It was its own YouTube video, but it's still a work in progress. So you're gonna get the raw footage here, and then if you subscribe, like, hit the bell, you're gonna get the finished thing with music and shit. So.
Nice.
I didn't.
Subscribe, like, and hit the bell.
Yeah, go ahead and play that at your leisure. There's a little bit of darkness. I feel. Bear with me, and maybe like 3 seconds of darkness.
Darkness.
Let me start off this by saying, if you don't like Jeff Lemire, you're a fucking idiot. So I just got to work, and I was listening to these live reactions and commentary on the Sweet Tooth trailer. So I'm like, yeah, I'm excited. I want to see what other people think. And I think 3 in a row started off with, I'm not a Jeff Lemire fan, or I never read Sweet Tooth. And I'm like, man, these guys are fucking idiots. Or girls. There's a couple of those too. These people are fucking idiots. But I'm going to give you my reaction on the trailer because it's going to be an honest look at what to expect and what to like from somebody that's read the comic and is a Jeff Lemire fan. So here we go. The look of it is like something I'd never imagined for it. It has this fantastical, polished look, kind of almost like a painting. When you read the comic, the art is very stylized. It's Jeff Lemire's style. A lot of people don't like it, but it's kind of looks like it's just watercolor thrown together with some pencils outlining everything, or inks, pen outlining everything, and almost a weird graffiti style kinda. It reminds me of Marilyn Manson paintings. That was one of the hardest things I would think would be the lost in translation, for lack of a better term, when you adapt a comic that looks so unique to television, a streaming service that actually has a certain way of doing things. They have certain requirements on how you photograph things, and the resolution and the colors, and now on top of that you have the director's vision of what the comic book should be, and that's usually what gives me the hajada of something I love is getting adapted. But the look of it it's different, but it looks really good. I assume some people that have questioned me on social media of like being too easy on this because there's some bastardizations. I don't really see them in the trailer that much. There's designs on that cult that made that religion of human-animal hybrids design, but it looks good on camera. It's more about their motivations and their characterizations in here that I would think you don't get that in the trailer, you know? Sweet Tooth, his design looks different. He's a little chubby cute kid, or at least chubby cheek cute kid. And in the comics, he's this lanky little dirty homeless kid, essentially. That's one criticism I have, if you can call it that, is that the world doesn't look as destroyed or post-apocalyptic. And in the comics, a lot of the nature scenes look better because, as we learned during the pandemic year, when humans stop fucking with shit, nature flourishes. So I can see why it looked clean here. They did show some cities, and it still looked a little too clean for me, but that's Jeff Lemire's art translating into a polished medium, a medium that requires polishing. So, well, it's more about the story at this point. Another thing that I assume the people that have been accusing me of being easy on this trailer is the race swapping. I guess Jeopard is black, and some people don't like that. Jeopard, I wish he looked, I don't care that he's black. I think it's fine, because really that character could be anybody, any race. The race isn't involved in that character's story. It's more about his motivations and what he does and how he's traveling this world and how he relates to Gus. That's what I'm concerned about. And again, you don't see that in the trailer. So I don't know why you would be mad at Jeopard. What I do not like about Jeopard is this new clean Ranger Aragorn type look. To me, Jeopard always looked like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino. And dirty and stringy muscles because he's old and weathered and he's been fighting this fight a long time. And that's what he doesn't look like in the trailer. I'm not going to call that a bastardization because the character could make up for it. So I'm not, usually I'm the guy that's known for hating things before they come out or hating them throughout the whole thing. And because it's based on something I love so much. If you ever listen to Fantastic Forum live, 6:30 p.m. Wednesdays, we do a live stream here on our YouTube channel. Or you can subscribe to the audio versions on iTunes and wherever you can get podcasts. Link will be up here somewhere or in the description. But yeah, I'm the one that hates everything and hates the adaptations and the comics are better. And this might be the case too. When you get to like your Umbrella Academies, your Old Guards, all these comic book properties that have been put into Netflix. Netflix does a bad job of actually adapting them faithfully. And that's really it. Hopefully we'll see. It's just a trailer. We'll see where it goes. Till the next time, just hit like, subscribe, and stay in touch with us to see what we can talk about next. I'm out. The end.
Indeed.
So yeah, did you guys get to see the trailer for that at all?
I think I saw a screen cap.
That means no.
Like, I couldn't get past it. Like, the kid's face is so round.
Yeah.
Really, Jay?
It's weird and off-putting. Like,
it is. It's
Sweet Tooth has like a very angular head,
right?
And I know it would be expensive to like do prosthetics or like CG, but at the same time, it's like I'm looking at him and it's like he doesn't look like Sweet Tooth at all. Like, yeah, it was a little off-putting. Like, I'll still probably try and watch it, but I mean, I never read the comics, so.
I mean, do you feel like it's one of these things, Mo, where it's like this guy just was like the best actor and that's all it was?
Well, who the black guy or Sweet Tooth, the kid Sweet Tooth?
No, Sweet Tooth.
I think the show's going with its look. It looks like Narnia. It has this fantasy look to it that's really polished and clean and colorful, whereas the comic has this like drab, dreary aesthetic, and that's where it's like, well, yeah, it looks kind of different, but I think they're gonna like the adventure of Sweet Tooth is gonna lend itself to this style they're doing, because you're gonna focus on the kid and you're gonna care about the kid. If the kid's ugly, you're not gonna care about him. That's just the sad fact of it.
So you're saying like a skinny faced kid.
A skinny, malnourished looking kid that has antlers, nobody's gonna give a fuck about. Like, that's just it. And I'm more concerned about the emotional moments. There's a moment. I'm gonna spoil it for you guys. There's a moment where Sweet Tooth gets captured by these dudes that are trying to experiment on these hybrids, and there's a kid that doesn't talk, and he's getting. Emily's already laughing at me back there because I'm gonna cry. But there's this kid that doesn't talk, and then this whole time you're following Jeopard and Sweet Tooth. This is about halfway through it, and when he finally breaks out, that little kid gets killed. But his last words are the only words you ever hear him say is one word that he screams out, and you're talking about children crying across panels, and it's daddy, and he's talking to Jeopard.
Oh.
And it's like,
damn.
Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps right now, like, just because that I read this comic at like 2 a.m. sometimes when I couldn't sleep, and just hitting me like that. I'm like, Emily sleeping. I was like, fuck, 2 a.m. She's like, what? Like, oh, this comic, yeah. And so it's one of those things. Like, if they can't get that right, then the show's for nothing. Like Jeff Lemire, stop selling your shit because it's not worth it. You already perfected that your story in that medium. Like this, I guess at that point it's just not for me, and I'm gonna hate it, you know. But it's just that's one of the things. If they can't capture those moments like that, and there's several of those moments in there. If they can't capture that, then the show is for nothing. It's like one of the things that I didn't get to talk about in that video little intro thing was the October Faction. You read the October Faction comic and you watch the series and it's garbage. It's like they made a Harry Potter version of October Faction for kids, and that's not what October Faction is, and it ruins the whole. It ruins the original, like as good as it could. And I'm not even like an October Faction thing, but it's like I like comics, and what I like about comics is what the thing is. All of us here love comics,
right?
And what we see in comics, we're like, man. I was like, what we see in there is like, man, we would like to see that in live action as a fantasy because it's like we want it to be real. And then when you don't get it, that's where the nerd rage comes out, where it's like, this is the shit. This is what you like. The costume, the fucking race swapping. At this point, I don't even talk about race swapping. If I don't cry myself to sleep after that episode where that kid yells "Daddy," the show fails. Like this is the shit. The heart, the soul of the story is what you. Yeah. Yeah.
Those shapes are definitely not the same.
Not the same. Honestly, like I love that kid's look. Like I like it. I like
the
aesthetic, and if they could manage those emotional scenes with that kid and that cast, look, I think it's going to be a brilliant show. But that's the thing. Man, I gotta get that Hollywood clout so that I can like make some of these decisions and tell them like, hey, you're fucking up, Like,
right.
At least I could bring you guys, so I could yell at you guys in front of them, and they're like, "Oh, we better get this shit right." Yeah.
Right.
What service or network is showing this one?
Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember. There's
Netflix, I guess.
Well, it's the production companies because I don't know if Netflix Studios is putting it together, but it could be. But sometimes, they outsource shit out, and it's Netflix original, but it's a different production that has the rights that's putting it together and sold it to Netflix. There's video floating on the internet out there where Joe's asking me, "Is that going to be good?" At the greatest convention of 2020, Long Beach Comic Expo. And I'm like, no, and I think I talked about that scene too, where it's like I don't think they're gonna capture that emotion. And then once I saw the trailer, it's like, fuck, I'm feeling that emotion just from looking at the trailer. So it's like they just might.
I will say that I know for me watching it, the kid's face wasn't like a thing for me where I was like, okay, I'm out. And I did recognize the fact that. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, obviously the kid is definitely, like, does have a round face. And Sweet Tooth, like, famously does not.
Yeah.
That's a big, it is a big aesthetic change. Because it's like, and, Jeff Lemire's art is stylized, and we all get that. And we know that, like, no one's going to look like that in real life. But you can find a kid with a sharper chin, or a chin at all. This is not to fat shame this child. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say like, oh, hey man, you need to be looking like this. I'm not saying that. The kid is a kid. Like, like as a kid, you could look like that and grow up to be, whatever. Like. No, like it's nothing. Like it's not even like It's just one of those things where it's interesting that in their minds, like the minds of the people that producing this show and casting this show, they were like, "This is the best choice," because it is like obviously opposite of what probably any of the other fans of the comic were expecting. So. I think it will be one of those things that remains to be seen when you watch the performance, because I feel like if you're a fan of the comic, there are going to be people that are like, hey, if you're not going to look like Sweet Tooth, you need to act like Sweet Tooth. God damn it! And maybe the kid will. I don't know, because I know, like, if it was me in the casting chair, and I'm like, do I want someone that looks like Sweet Tooth but can't act like Sweet Tooth? Or do I want somebody that can act like Sweet Tooth but doesn't look like Sweet Tooth? I'm probably going to pick someone that can act like Sweet Tooth over someone that looks like them to a degree. Don't get me wrong. Like, yeah. Like,
he looks like a cherub.
he does, in fact, look like a cherub.
Yeah.
Like the traditional... the popular culture version of a cherub, not the biblical version.
Yeah.
Right.
The biblical version has like the head of a lion and the cock of a eagle or some shit.
Biblical cherubs are a whole different thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, biblical cherub, that's the source material, goddamn.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. If they could do like a good adaptation of the Bible, like that'd be...
No one wants to see that.
All those gangbangs and incest and all that.
Hey, it's a wild book.
It's Game of Thrones.
In a lot of ways, you are correct.
Nobody will sign off on that.
But yeah, man, it's one of these things where, like, I would definitely pick someone that looks like, or I'm sorry, that acts like Sweet Tooth over someone that looks like Sweet Tooth. But I'm sure there's like some lanky child that didn't get the part that's like, dude, what are you doing?
His parents starved them for months to get the role in.
Right. It's malnourished. Like, I miss so many meals. I miss so many meals.
But then, like looking at that spectrum, like, did they act good?
No, because they were
or
starved.
Just, like, monotone through the whole thing. Yeah,
his malnourished was like, oh, it's so weak.
Honestly, though, like a monotone Sweet Tooth, like, he has exciting moments, but a lot of the series is walking in the wasteland. Like, it reminds me a lot of Fallout in a way, and it's so he doesn't need a lot of theatrics when it comes to performance of Sweet Tooth. It's more the emotional scenes, and that's what's really that's where I'm scared, but I'm hopeful because I got the feeling in the trailer. Yeah, so
right.
That's where I'm hopeful. One thing I'm worried about is if they canceled Falcon and Winter Soldier with the virus storyline, because that's a big part of Sweet Tooth, is a virus that wipes out humanity,
right,
and doesn't affect the hybrid kids, and they're the new race.
They mentioned that in the commercial.
Yeah, but we'll again, like, I don't know. I'm nervous, and there's what's another thing I'm nervous about? Oh, the kid growing up. Like, if they're gonna rush a lot of things, and which with Sweet Tooth, it's not that it drags on, but it is a monthly thing. I think they can do the whole series in 4 seasons, and if they could shoot them while the kid's still young, like. That'd be amazing, but because it's gonna be weird with him, like, Jeopard, help me, I'm dying.
Listen, you didn't realize that's exactly what Sweet Tooth sounded like in the comic all this time. You just read it wrong.
I didn't get the audio cue.
No,
this show's gonna go on for so long. His kid is actually gonna take over. Like, that kid's gonna grow up, have another kid.
Well, that's
gonna be Sweet Tooth.
That's what that's Sweet Tooth: The Return, the Black Label series. And then there's also there's Instagram comic of Sweet Tooth as a grown ass man, and
Instagram comic.
Yeah, like he goes, for those of you wondering what happened to Sweet Tooth, and he just drew a picture of him like in the wilderness with his kid. So it takes place.
Jeff Lemire did that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then that's how he teased The Return. So it kind of connects, but I haven't read The Return enough to see that part of it. But
gotcha.
It doesn't happen in the book at all. It's like something in between. Like, he's like, oh, I'm dabbling of giving you a sequel. Here's and We'll see. And then for those of you who want to get into the series and stuff, in June 6th, I think they're doing the Sweet Tooth Compendium, the whole series in one book for like $60. Or it actually might be less because I think you get the whole series for $80 individual comic. So it might be like $30 or something. But we'll see. I'm excited and scared, and I really don't want to hate this one, but I can't help it. I don't know. I'm not, the agony that is life.
Well, I'm glad you really enjoyed the trailer because that's going to make the disappointment of the actual show so much sweeter.
Yeah.
Oz is just reveling in the hate. He's like, "Oh, it's gonna be so awesome."
I know it's coming. I'm just, I'm waiting for it.
Mm-hmm.
Popcorn ready. Let's go.
Oz is like the real life. I'm just here waiting for the comments.
What's the worst adaptation look? Sweet Tooth, Chubby Cheeks, or Preacher with a beard and goatee?
I'm gonna go just what I saw and what I've read. I believe that Sweet Tooth will be a closer adaptation in regards to source material than Preacher was. That's what I believe.
The look of the character, because I know they're different looks and they garner some criticism even here.
I'm gonna give Sweet Tooth if you're talking about strictly aesthetic, I'm still gonna give it to Sweet Tooth.
Okay.
Because I could see somebody looking at the Preacher from the TV show, and if you take the thing, the metal tips off the collar, I don't know that someone knows that that's Preacher from the comic.
Yeah,
I feel like the metal tips is what solidifies it, where you're like, oh well, what other Preacher has those?
Yeah, I'll ask my wife if it was the metal tips that gave it away.
Yeah, ask her.
She literally walked in, saw the dude on screen, and knew it was Preacher immediately.
Yeah, but it's not the hair, and it's not the way the guy looks, because the guy has a much fuller beard than Preacher does. It's I guess technically he has the collar.
Yeah, but
right, exactly. So I'm this is what I'm saying. So I'm saying I think it's the metal tips. And I feel like that's what somebody you look at that, you're like, oh, that's Preacher. Or you ask the question, is this Preacher? Because you're like, what other Preacher do you know that has those metal tips on the collar?
I need to get those metal tips.
Yeah.
And maybe maybe that's a Texas thing. I don't know. I'm not from Texas, so I don't know.
It is because it's that workwear, cowboy chic,
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm saying in Texas, you might look at that and be like, well, everybody has that. So it's just every minister has that. So it doesn't matter. I don't know which minister this is. I don't know what Preacher this is because every preacher wears that. But I feel like if you're not from Texas, you look at that and you're like, that's Preacher.
My dream casting for Jesse Custer was always Matthew McConaughey. And
with black hair?
Yeah, or even just brunette, just the dark brown hair. The hair color is not that big a deal. Because even with the girl, I forget her name.
Tulip.
The girl they got to play, she looks nothing like the art. And she's even a different race.
Right.
Some of those expressions in her eyes look like in the comic. And
she got those crazy tulip eyes.
Yeah, and those expressions in the face, and I'm like, I'll accept it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, look, I didn't realize Matthew. Is that his natural hair color?
Yeah.
Oh, that is pretty dark. I didn't realize it was that dark. Matthew McConaughey has a big forehead. I didn't realize that either.
Just like Jessica.
You're right. No, look, listen, he's a much better pick than I would have realized before this picture came up. He even has the Jesse Custer beard here.
Yeah.
From the comic. That's one of the things where I was like, huh, this guy has a different beard, and I'm not gonna be like, oh well, I'm not gonna watch it because his beard's too full. I'm like, that's a weird statement just in and of itself. But I can recognize the idea that somebody that's like a big fan of Preacher might be like, what's this whole full beard thing? You know? Because in the comic, that's not what he has. He has like what looks like 6 o'clock shadow, you know?
Actually made a similar complaint when The Voice came out on Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, no, but and I can totally see that because oh boy, like, I mean, the dude in The Boys is clean shaven, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Did you say 6 o'clock shadow?
Yeah, because it's not 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's further than that.
Yeah.
It actually might be 8 o'clock shadow. Goddamn.
All right, my bad. All right, you're right. Continue.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's not 5 o'clock shadow. This fool's not like, oh man, hey, it's the end of the day. It grew in a little bit. I got to shave tonight or tomorrow morning. It's like, you missed a day. Like, you know, it's like, my guy, like, who decided this? It's worse than Negan. When it was like, we're like, Negan, like, why does this guy have a beard? Like, and I understand, like, you know, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, okay, he's like, I have a beard, but you're playing a character. Like, you shaved it before.
But LOL at 8 o'clock shadow.
And I'm just like, look, Jeffrey Dean Morgan just decided I don't want to be a clean shaven dude. I like my beard.
He like,
well, then
he like shaves for one episode and then it's back.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, if you're gonna commit to the role, my guy, commit to the role. That's all I'm saying. Like, Negan doesn't have this beard that you have, or at least not in the beginning. You know, at some point, like, at least play the role that you're supposed to play at first, and then negotiate for the beard later. Because we'll all be like, oh, well, that guy's great. He's Negan. And, you know, I guess technically, maybe Jeffrey Dean Morgan just has a lot more confidence in himself than the rest of us do. Because I would like him to be clean shaven, because that's what Negan looks like. But he's like, no, I could be Negan even with the beard. And okay. And it turned out, I guess maybe I was wrong, because I think most people thought of him as Negan. But most people didn't read the comic either, though. So I don't know. I wasn't angry at him, but it was one of the small gripes where I'm like, he's good as Negan, but he'd be better if he was clean shaven. Son of a bitch.
The only guy in the post-apocalypse that can be clean shaven, like, that's a power thing. It's a
right, exactly. Right. This fool has a straight razor somewhere. He's not going to he's not buying Gillette from the store.
He has somebody that shaves him, and he's too scared to kill him. Yeah.
He has someone who shaves him and is too scared to kill him. No, that's what's real. Yeah. Right. This is the only fool in the apocalypse with a friggin' baby face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Before we get into, we're running out of time here. I would like to get, at the very least, a real quick impression of you guys' Resident Alien opinions, but I have to get to a Mo deal.
What?
A birthday Mo deal from me to you. I'm saving you money. And
here comes the money.
Here we go.
More money, more money, more money, more money.
I love it.
Yeah. So this Mo deal is for Marvel Unlimited. This is a year subscription. You can get $60 you get a whole year to Marvel Unlimited. It is the borrow streaming service for comics that Marvel has, and you get everything. And I'm gonna share a couple screens here with you, because I actually did a Mo deal for my friend Lloyd while we hung out yesterday in person. I'm like, I'm gonna give you the Mo deal. I'm gonna give tomorrow, and the deal's good till the end of May. So you got a few more weeks. But let me see here. Where is? No, that's not.
I like this.
This live
for us.
Mo deal.
Yes.
That's.
Hex disturbed. Look at his face. Hex like, where's this Mo deal?
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
Okay, I'll do the entire screen.
The mouse took it away already.
Okay. All right. So this is a text I got. My friend Lloyd, he's like, "Oh, I signed up. I'm paying, the monthly thing." Like, no, cancel that. And so if you have the monthly thing, you can actually cancel it and you use the code I'm gonna give you and get the year for $60. It says here I was able to switch over to the $60 annual deal. And then I said tight. And then I recommend it because he's like, I don't know what to read for Marvel now because I'm so behind and I don't know what to pick up. And I suggested the Dan Slott Fantastic Four run, even though it garnered a lot of criticism. People didn't like it, but we like Dan Slott already, and we like the Fantastic Four. So let's give it a shot. And it turns out he loves it. So and then he wants to he's gonna read this High Republic comic, and then the code is right here. It's MU save 60. Use that code at checkout.
Nice.
You get a year for $60. And in pandemic times, you can't get to the comic book shop, but you're gonna have digital comics. Take it with you. And they're always updating, and it's a good service. DC has something similar, the DC Infinite, and if you have the DC Universe app from back in the day, it turned into Infinite, and it's all the time. And I think it's $7.99. I'm trying to get a deal from them, so I can share with you, but we'll get there. But yeah, Moses Magnum, this has been a Mo deal.
There it is. Lloyd is correct. The High Republic comic, well, the High Republic novel is good, even though I'm not finished with it yet. So I can't say in its totality, but thus far it's been really good. And the comic is good too. So, for those that may wonder, it's interesting though. I will say, like, I don't know how far he is in on that Dan Slott Fantastic Four run. I'm sorry, Fantastic Four run. Yeah, right.
The right Fantastic Forum.
It started strong for me, but ultimately it fizzled out as far as I was concerned. I did pick it back up during Empire just to kind of be like, oh well, it all ties in. So I'm like, and those were good issues too. It's like it's not that it's not that it's bad because it's not a bad run. It's just that what I loved about reading Dan Slott's writing was more about like how much love he has for particular characters. His She-Hulk run, his Spider-Man run are so classic because of I feel like the amount of admiration he has for those particular characters for some reason. And it doesn't come through in the same way for Fantastic Four or for Iron Man. I was looking forward to both of them. And, Iron Man was the more interesting of the two. But even then, it was still kind of like, I feel like Fantastic Four isn't quite the right fit for him, unfortunately. Even though
that's
yeah.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, even though like it has its moments where you're like I've read other, like I dip back in every so often, and I'm like, this was good. Like it was a good issue, but it's like every so often, it's like it's one of those things where it's weird because I'll like read something and be like, you know what, I should be reading this book, and I'll buy like the next 2 issues, and like after like 2 issues, I'm like, I don't know if I need to read this again, and then something happens event wise, and I'm like, well, let me go and check it out, and I read like an issue or 2, and I'm like, oh, this is good, and then I keep reading it again. I'm like, you know what, I don't know if I need to read this.
I know because he asked me, he goes, part of me doing that Mo deal live in person, and you could get it too for the right price. Was we're eating, and he's like, before I leave, because he had a time constraint, and he's like, can you tell me what to read now? Because I can only read things from a certain point in time because I'm on Marvel Unlimited.
Right.
And I go, honestly, I would say go with like your Empire, your if you can get House of X.
Yeah, good. I'm like, yeah, he can get all that. He can get House and Powers.
Yeah. So, and then I go, that stuff is good, and he's smarter than me, so he'll love House of X.
Dude, it's so good.
I'm stupid, but I also told him, surprising to me, I said, you know what, do the King in Black stuff, like go back to the
people love that stuff.
People love it. I'm not a big fan of Cano myself, but but like I can't deny that people love it, and Donnie Cates is a talented dude, so I'm sure there's stuff there that I'm gonna like, even if I don't like Cano. And even with his Silver Surfer run, Silver Surfer Black, which kind of starts off the King in Black stuff a little bit, it shows you that part of it. I'm gonna read that Silver Surfer, and then I told him the Silver Surfer Dan Slott run too, but yeah, that like that when you talk about how much love he has for a character, like that Silver Surfer, like he loves Silver Surfer, and
absolutely.
It's like Dan Slott and Mike Allred, like you can't go wrong with that. Duo, man. Like, it's amazing, and so I just the King in Black was a surprise to me that I suggested, but I'm like, you know what, that's what people are spending money on. Give it a shot. Tell me what you think, and then I'm not.
And I know, like, for me, like, I reluctantly read King in Black just because I was like, well, dude, it's like, you know me, like, usually I'm excited about the next Marvel event. Yeah. And King in Black was a thing for me where I was like, oh, well, I get that people love symbiotes, but at this point, I'm like, sure. right. But I'm just like, I'm not really, like, enthused about any of this, and I'm like, I'll mess with it just to kind of see what it is, because it's like it's the next big Marvel event. And I bought every issue of King in Black and read it, and I did the Venom tie-ins as well because it's Venom, so it's gonna be like substantive. And I mean, it was a cool little story. It wasn't a thing for me where I was like, oh man, like this is what I've been waiting for, but at the same time, I wasn't necessarily like all super in on Venom either. And so, I feel, but there's like an audience, obviously, that was like all about the symbiotes and their lore and all that stuff. And it's like, hey, more power to them. It's like, everything's not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the same way, like, I like what's happening with X-Men, with the Hickman era of X-Men, is like, I'm all in for that. I bought. No, I'm sorry, I didn't buy. I literally got at my. Huh?
You stole?
No, I didn't. I didn't stole. It was free. It was free. I got
free.
No, no air quotes. Actually, free at my shop.
I got like air quotes. Yeah.
They actually had like little packets of like Krakoan seeds.
Oh,
man. Right, and I was just like, "Oh, dude, can I?" I mean, there might still be some there. I can ask tomorrow. I could call them tomorrow and be like, "Hey, if there's more, can you save another 2 for me?"
Yeah,
because they had like literally like and apparently it was something that came out that I didn't know about when House and Powers, House of X and Powers of 10 came out. They like it was like a free giveaway thing, and apparently, I guess they were like, "Oh, we had these in the back or something." And they're like, no, these are free. Like, if you want them, take them. And I'm like, I can take one of each. And they're like, yeah. So I literally have a House of X and a Powers of 10 packet of actual, what says Krakoan seeds, but it's actually like, of course, some other actual seed. I don't remember.
Can you get me like, because I want to have the packet, but I also want to grow them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, I will call them tomorrow and be like, hey, if you have like 2 more of those still, save them, and they'll hold them for me, so you can have those.
You got
but it. but at the very least, even if they're all gone, I'll give you one of the 2 I have, because I got 1 House of X and 1 Powers of 10. I'll give you one of those if nothing else.
Yeah,
but
our powers combined.
Right, but I love the Hickman era of X-Men, and
look,
there's some X-Men fans that are not about it at all. They're just like, no, this sucks.
But Hickman era of things is great, even if you don't like it. Like, you can't deny the greatness. That's kind of how I feel with King in Black, where it's like there's people that love it. Like,
right, and I guess that's what it was. Yeah,
and they're paying money for comics. Like,
right,
I can't be mad at it. Like, I cannot like it, but I can't be mad at it, and I gotta respect it.
Right, and I feel but. It's interesting to see where it's just like, hey, like I can't be mad at like the people that like it just because I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like that like it's not like it's bad because I read them and they're interesting enough. I was like, like I didn't feel like, oh man, like here I go. Like I didn't feel like I was wasting my money. I was just like, I'm not as interested in this particular story as some other stories, and that's what it boiled down to. At the end of the day, I was, the King of Black was 5 issues, and that was like it for as far as like the main line thing. And I was like, okay, I read issue 5. I was like, oh, that's a cool like little conclusion, But like I've read other Donny Cates stuff that I was more impressed with. Like his Thor, in my opinion, was a better story than King in Black.
Yeah, and that's what he's like. Oh yeah, they're saying his Thor was really good, and I'm like, you know what? I hear that too, but King in Black's the one making the money.
Right? No, absolutely. And his Venom, like people are like all about it. Yeah. But at the same time, like I'm telling you, like I know longtime X-Men fans that are like, it feels like the X-Men are villains in the Hickman era. But at the same time, it's like it's a matter of perspective. Like if you don't understand what it's like to be a part of an oppressed group, and you decide to like take that power back, you might be like, why can't they just understand the status quo? And it's like, well, because that's not beneficial to them.
Yeah, we see it a lot in our own history without mutants.
Right, no, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. It's like
the Black Panther Party and things like that, or even BLM party. Organization, like
absolute.
Yeah.
It's like that's what I'm saying. It's like when Scott Summers was like, did you think we were just gonna take this all this time?
Yeah.
You didn't think that at some point we would just be like, no more? It's like I feel that in my soul. Like, that's not even like comic books for me. That's like, dude, like, yeah. And but there are other people that are like, oh man, I think they're the bad guys now. And it's like, okay, like, yeah, I get why you would think that. That's all there is to it. Like, okay, no, I understand why you might feel that way. But yeah. So let's talk about Resident Alien.
Yeah. Oh man, Resident Alien. We reviewed the first episode here. We talked about it extensively on Tudyk on Tudyk.
Tudyk on Tudyk is the premier imaginary podcast. Everyone that knows anything about imaginary podcasts knows.
What do you mean imaginary?
I'm sorry.
It's there.
What's the right word? No, what's the right word? Not eclectic. No. I can't remember the word.
Tudyk exists. It's just all transcribed and it's all text with me and Oz about how awesome that is. And then one day we're gonna hire actors to read the text.
No, I know the word. Esoteric.
Esoteric. Yeah.
It's the premier esoteric podcast. It's only for a select few.
Yeah, if you know, you know.
If you right. If you know, you
Fantastic Four in black label.
Fantastic Four only fans.
Yeah. But we love the comic. I interviewed Peter Hogan. We played this on our show in the past, and it's been a comic that is part of Fantastic Four history in a way, because it's one of those comics where we all like.
Yeah.
It was the fastest review. It took 15 minutes. We all loved it. We all enjoyed it. We all gave it anywhere from 4 to 5, and the series came to a conclusion, and it was a great series until I had a little itch around the ring of my bung that just didn't let me sit right with the show.
The ring of your what?
Of my bung, the butthole. You're sitting pretty watching and enjoying the show, and then you got an itch in your ass. You can't get comfortable. That's what I had, because the show is a murder mystery where the character watches murder mysteries to learn about humanity, and then the murder mystery like just becomes not part of the character's motivation, the alien, and it's just solved and by somebody else, and then at the end they just show you what happened. Who knows where it goes from here? But it's like it has like nobody really solved it. Yeah, and it's like it's ridiculous. And it's like, yeah, you know, this is where like there's things in comics like the whole time we're reviewing the series, we're like, well, this show's good, and it's not like the comic, but it has that spirit, and it's like, yeah, but at this point, it lost the soul of what the comic is. It's like, why bother with the murder mystery at all at that point? You know, and that's where I'm at with the series now. Now, I still enjoyed the finale. Those last 3 episodes were amazing, but they had nothing to do with the comics.
Hey, I feel where you're coming from.
I think in the comic they solved the doctor's murder like by the end of the first issue.
Yeah, but and that's the thing. It's like here they throw it out into this other thing, and then it doesn't even become part of the aliens' whole dynamic. Yeah,
that last episode was so sad though.
Yeah,
I almost cried. Dude was about to go home, and like he was looking forward. Oh, I'm gonna see my wife, and my kids, and then little bastard ruins everything. Wait, what?
You gotta go get close to your mic.
Jay, what happened to your? Yeah, lean in
or bring it up.
How's that?
A little better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His wife is dead.
Yeah.
He's not going to see her.
I thought she's still alive in the show.
No, she's dead. Her body was acidified when.
Oh, because it gets ripped apart when she gave birth. Yeah, but still, like kid 68 or whatever, like he was looking forward to seeing that one.
You mean 62?
Yeah.
What are the between 50 and 82 are kind of the range of his favorite kids. That was close. That was close enough. Like he can't keep track of his kids. You expect me to do it?
Me was that they didn't even get the right person for the murder.
Like when you say the right person, you mean like not the person that it was in the book?
No, in the show. They got the woman, but it wasn't her. It was the guy.
Okay.
They caught the woman. I think what's gonna end up happening is she's the one that put the guy up to it. But yeah, they do show. The last episode shows the guy whose body he took over actually putting the poison in the shot, and like the poison that ends up killing the doctor was put there by the guy whose body he takes over. And honestly, that last episode, I thought that was going to go somewhere, but that's it. They don't ever talk about it again. So I'm hoping that's the season 2 thing that they were setting up, but it was just really weird because to show it and then not do anything with it is kind of awkward.
But do they show it before the last episode?
In the last episode, the opening is what's the doctor's name? Tudyk's character,
Harry.
Right.
Yeah, they show him actually putting the poison in the insulin shot or however
right. Done. But in the last episode.
Yeah, and then
but it's the beginning of the last episode.
Yeah, it's the cold open or whatever.
Right.
And then nothing is ever like it has nothing to do with anything in that last episode.
Yeah,
I thought they were gonna. I thought that was gonna be a thing, but yeah, they don't talk about it. They don't mention it. The wife that was cheating on her husband, and I guess would have been, which I think put him up to it, is already been arrested. She's not even mentioned in this episode. I don't think.
Right.
It did make me feel better about him getting killed, though.
I mean, I guess that might be the point. Yeah. And,
it just feels like something that it should have been a plot point in this last episode. Now, what they did with the episode was great. I enjoyed it, and I'm glad they didn't waste time with that. But why even like save that for season 2?
I mean, maybe they're trying to anticipate people, or like make it so that people anticipate the next season to see how those things resolve.
I'll be honest, I wasn't even thinking about that at the end of the episode.
That's fair.
That's
what it is. Right.
That's what I love about Joe.
Right.
I love how he offered his leftover pizza to Asha.
That was funny. Yeah.
My favorite episode is still where he spits on the kid. when they start doing the whole thing where like the little girl's like, well, I didn't bury him. I like the back and forth of him coming up with how he's gonna dance on this kid's grave, or spit on the grave, and then the girl tries to like outsmart him by, oh well, I didn't actually bury him. He was cremated. Oh well, I'll find the ashes. And for him to just like fuck it and just spits on the kid, and I was like, I got him. And then the look on her face too, like I don't know what just happened. It was man.
This is funny.
One of the things that makes this show great is that, yeah, it's about this alien living among humans that's becoming human. Yeah, that's the only reason he wants to get back to his kid 68 or 62 is because he has human emotions for that kid that'll have nothing for him. Yeah, but that's part of being human. And but it's the ensemble cast of people, and you know that proposal of the sheriff wanting the deputy to come back to work was fucking amazing. And that I love that sheriff. Like I don't know.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
I want to meet him in person and give him a deal over a beer. That's how cool he is. Because he's like he can sing, he can beatbox, he can just stay there. Like I'm willing to bet that there's a blooper reel of him like saying all this crazy shit, like how he says it, and not even laughing because he believes what he says. Like the goddamn kid's like, what he says, like I saved that kid from playing with that car and getting hit by a motherfucking car. Like, when he bought the little Hot Wheel instead of the kid getting it. Yeah, when he just says that, it's like, dude, that's a real that character's a real person. Like, not that I've met anybody like that. Like that actor makes that character a real person to me. And that's something like I mean. They can't give an award for that. There's no, it's like best actor in a TV series, and somebody else is going to get it instead of him because he's not the leading dude. But really, like, he's doing it better than half the people on every other show. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, I have a question for you guys. The episode where the alien is talking to the octopus.
I love that.
Was he really talking to the octopus, or was he just high as hell? No, the way they did it could go either way.
I felt like the octopus was an alien.
Yeah.
Okay. The octopus is what on his planet, like the same species that they evolved from. They just didn't get a chance to evolve on Earth. But when he's talking to it, that dude is higher than he's ever been in his life. So it could easily just been him hallucinating.
It's true.
It's kind of how it's played off in the episode where everybody's like, "Oh, he's just sitting there talking to the octopus because he's high."
Joe,
I was gonna say it could. I would have thought it could be either way until he mentioned that he was descendant from octopuses. Then that kind of locked it in for me. Is that conversation really happening?
Yeah, I've always like wanted to talk to octopusi, but like it. So I want to think that he did talk to it. Like I love that's like one of my favorite animals, and I hate it because I love them. They're so smart. I love watching them, but they're so delicious.
They are.
I feel so bad. Like every time I eat one, I feel so bad, but it's just so.
You gotta eat that, and I forget. It's got a name, but I forget it right now. Where it's octopus dish. And they put either like the soy sauce with lemon on it.
Yeah,
it's the muscle, so it looks like it's moving.
The soy sauce, yeah.
It starts like crawling around like it's alive.
Yeah. I hate that. I love octopi so much that I respect them as a creature, and it's funny because the whole idea that they're alien to Earth is something that's not too strange in science. They even the way they explain it to the show is kind of like the dumbed down version of how a lot of scientific theories of it comes, and it's also the fish that has the sea life that no matter how much pollution has happened, they're not going extinct. They're flourishing with this pollution, and there's something to be learned and studied. And if somebody wants to study octopi DNA and see how we can become better life forms on Earth, and then let me eat all of them after, I'll be it'll be an awesome birthday for me.
Hilarious.
Like I would hate to talk to one because it's like, dude, like, man, you're a cool guy. You mind if I eat one of your arms real quick? You got
I think the last issue of the final series comes out next week, I think, of Resident Alien. Or what's supposed to be the final series.
Sorry, I was waiting for you to like bring it back to octopi.
No, I was going back to Resident Alien. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
It is delicious, though. I agree with you. But yeah, so I was just like, it's crazy because I did start that series, but I haven't kept up, and so I'm like, yeah, it's cool because, like, I mean, they've said, I guess he's like, hey, I don't need to make any more comics because I'm cashing, TV checks now. So
yeah, that got renewed for another season 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm happy for Peter Hogan too. Like even that's one of those, like, even with the bastardizations, I can't be mad because he's a good dude. He's put his dues in comics, and like I'm just mad Disney didn't do it where he could have gotten mad money or just a thank you. But it'd be Disney, because Disney does some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Man, like, I was gonna save it for news, but yeah, they really fucked over Amphibia.
Yeah.
How?
Oh, I didn't want to interrupt, but basically,
well, Heck had a story too, so let's all give our story about Disney.
So, basically, the Amphibia season finale, like they've been hyping it for like weeks now, promoting it. It was all set to air. Then at the last minute, they pull it from the schedule. We don't know why. We don't know how, or like we don't really know why they did it, but they did it. And the creator is like, well, okay, everyone, they pulled it, but it's cool. We're going to get a new time slot. Everything's going to be cool. And then the episode leaks on digital platforms, specifically iTunes.
Okay.
So the crew is like, dude, you pulled our shit for whatever reason, and then you let it leak. Like, you pull it at the last minute just to let it leak. And it's like, it's kind of messed up. Like, all their work and shit, and like, to have this fucked up release over a schedule change that was like they don't say why it happened, so we don't really know. Like, there's a lot of things we don't know, but it was just kind of fucked up, like, to do that.
Right.
The creator was obviously like pissed, but he kind of calmed down. But then you had like other people like being pissed on his behalf. Dana Terrace, the creator of the Owl House, and the person she also worked on Gravity Falls was kind of like, no, Disney fucked up. Like, this is some bullshit. And then you had Olin Rogers, the creator of Final Space, saying, "Hey, calm down. You know, Disney can still fuck you. Like, you don't want to be mad. Like, they can still fuck you over harder." And
yeah.
Matt Braley, that's the creator of Amphibia, has kind of been like, "Hey, if you're a fan, please don't watch the leaks. Just watch it when it officially airs, whenever that is." But it's just so fucked up. Like,
Right.
Like, they've been promoting it literally for like over a month. Like,
wow.
They've been doing so much to lead up to this finale, and as far as like promotions, like they even scheduled like a pre-show. Like Matt Braley put together like a pre-show. They were going to do games and contests and Q&A, and it was just Disney just pulled it last minute.
Wow.
Digital networks.
So no one knows why yet?
They haven't said why. Like,
Okay.
they might know. The only thing we've been told by Matt Braley is that it wasn't the fault of another show.
Okay.
Because I think some people were blaming the Ghost and Molly McGee because they did a halfway to Halloween marathon on that day. And other people were blaming Big City Greens. I'm not sure why. But he basically said, no, they didn't have anything to do with it. It was something else. Don't be mad at those shows. And he did not say what exactly happened.
It's kind of silly to blame another show when there's somebody in charge of all the programming for the day.
Right. That's true.
Hey, you say that until you know your favorite comics gets canceled because the team is the same team working on Ultimate War, X-Men. Like, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I'm so mad at Steampunk for not ending. Like Chris Pachalo's drawing Ultimate War. It's like, you cocksucker. Like,
book.
Which one? Ultimate War?
No, Steampunk.
Oh yeah. I still I still have every issue, and I found a signed copy it was signed by Richard Starkings and Richard Friend, the inker and the letterer, and it was the preview like called Catechism, and it was like the Bible for the book, like some promotional thing. I found it in the quarter box.
Man.
Really?
Yeah, so it's one of my most treasured possessions because I'm a fan of Richard Friend. And
in the quarter bin signed.
Yeah, it's weird. I because you know it's a book that look. There's a reason why they jumped over to Ultimate War because you know it was a hard book. Like visually, Chris Pachalo did his thing, and people weren't ready for that. Now that's what you get is this jumbled art, and it's tight. But back in the 90s, it's like, you know, we need the big muscles and small ankles, but we need to not see the ankles. Yeah. And this was like a panoramic worldview with intense detail in one panel. Yeah. But yeah, and then, Hecht actually shared a story with us with Disney, like trying not to pay people.
Oh yeah.
What was that story, Hecht? I didn't read it. I just said, you know.
Oh man, I don't even have it up. That feels like a month ago.
Was it?
That no, it was like
3 days ago.
I think maybe it was like a week or two. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're actually
was it that?
what it is they're finally paying people, so their stock is going to go down.
That's just life.
Yeah,
it's like I listen. As long as we're being fair with folks, I will be okay.
I think that Larry, as a member of the board, actually made it happen, and that's where the stock is plummeting. Don't have a just person on your board. Like it's Money Magnum.
I don't think Larry has that much.
Oh, he
I got
did.
that clout.
I don't think Larry has that much pull.
I got that.
The mouse has too much.
Yeah. People
I
love
got that Disney influence.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like it. I mean,
Oh,
I just like I'm hoping everybody does the right thing, and just like so it doesn't have to be beef anymore. Honestly, it's like I remember when we were talking about friggin' doing the Winter Soldier story, and about Brubaker, and about how he made more money off of his like cameo than he does off of actually the creating the Winter Soldier. It's like that's one of those things where that's not cool. Like it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
If somebody contributes to the greater like the tapestry of comic book canon, it's like that person should be rewarded for that contribution, especially when it like like we knew it had legs when it happened in the comic. It was like, wow, this is an amazing thing that has happened, and it was done so masterfully and so artfully that people deserve recognition. But when that jumps from the page into other mediums, whether that be animation or it's television, movies, shoot, even plays, it's like, give the people that made that stuff initially, give them their due so they can be happy. And it's not even like, like if they had treated people right from the start, it wouldn't have gotten to the point where they all are like ganging together to try to like get their money because they see the deep pockets now. It's like treat them well from the start.
It's I guess the super too long don't read version is that when Disney took over, they quit honoring a lot of the contracts that a lot of writers already had with stuff that already got put out, like the royalty stuff. So Disney just like, so Disney quit doing royalties.
But that's the thing where it's like there should be somebody on the publishing side that should be like, we can't do this, and at least at that, and it's not to say that I mean, maybe there was somebody. Who knows? For all we know,
like, there was somebody and he got fired.
Right, exactly.
It's the thing. It's like you got to play ball with the big boss. Like at that point, the head of Marvel becomes middle management, and somebody that's been in that type of position in the past, it's like I used to tell my people, look, I'm gonna give you shit because they give me shit. So do your shit so they don't give me shit, and I won't give you shit.
Right.
And that's really it. And it's like if you don't like it, like. This was bad. They got real mad at me on both the workers and
management
because they're starting to cuss me out. And I'm like, look, if you don't like the way they're doing shit, why don't you take your fucking medical degree and go work somewhere else? And they got mad because I was shaming them for not going to college. I was like, not my fault. You're a fucking idiot. Yeah.
There it is.
I got. Look. That's why I work for myself now.
Right. Exactly.
And your boss
is still
a dick.
Yeah, my boss is still a dick, but he gave me the day off yesterday and he let me go home early today.
Woo! Yeah. There it is.
Happy birthday.
Hooray for that guy.
Yeah.
But it's like you should just honor whatever agreements were set beforehand. Because, it's not like, I get it. Like if you're like, well, hey, we didn't make that agreement, I hear that. But if you can understand why that agreement was made beforehand, it's like you just continue to honor it because why wouldn't you? It was fair then, so that means it's fair now. So, but, I guess it's all a decision for individuals to make in that moment, I guess. But
one thing Disney did do right is because there was a weird thing because like the show Modern Family was made by Fox, but it's broadcast by Disney. So when that came over, that's a contract that they had that for streaming things and it was in limbo, so nobody had it. And I know, I talked about the Mo deal 2 years ago, where right before the last season, you could get all 10 seasons for $100 on iTunes. And I didn't. I chose not to do it because I'm like, well, Disney's gonna buy Fox and it'll be everywhere, and then it wasn't. But so I was mad, and it's like I wish I would have bought it. But now they figured it out. You know, they're like, yeah, let's fix this instead of like figure out people's royalty contracts. So now we have Modern Family on Hulu, and I've been watching it. It's awesome.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, because even in that situation, comic books can eat ass on that one.
Yeah,
You know, some people like eating ass.
hey, who doesn't? Shut up, Larry. You're lying.
I literally didn't say anything.
Like you literally have a shit-eating grin. There it is. There it is.
That's hilarious.
Got him.
All right, what else do we need to talk about before we get out of here?
I don't. I think I'm as far as show stuff goes. I'm out. And if we want to do news, we can. I'm down. I probably need to take another shot or something. but I'm good. It's up to you guys.
Y'all got some news to talk about?
Nah.
We could go into final thoughts, but you know, if you have drinks with you, take a shot with me. I'm gonna take my last shot of the night.
Woo!
And
let's do it.
Let's see, and we'll do final thoughts as a toast. Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Look, we can see you in our minds putting your cup up to Hecht.
I'm doing it.
Yep, I believe it.
You just can't see it because that little window is so small.
That's all it is. That's all it is. It's like if they would only expand that circle.
While y'all were talking, I bought the metal tips for my shirt.
Did you really? Wow.
You don't live in Texas.
Direct from Texas. It is better than Texas. He's in middle America.
I also looked up where
real America.
I can get Tang near me.
Black Compact says I'm out of gin, so it's time for bed over here.
What?
Dudes, have a good one.
What? How did she run? How did Black Compact run out of gin?
It's in her now.
It's a shortage because of COVID.
Gin shortage.
Everybody was getting gin and juice, or gin and tang.
Laid back.
That sounds
gin
good.
and tang.
What are
gin
you
and
mixing?
tang is not.
You said, you're mixing Bacardi with the Tang, right?
Yeah.
Now, is it Bacardi and Tang powder, or is there water involved?
It was Tang already mixed.
Okay,
that's good.
I like that.
I'm just like gin and tang is not a hit song. I can tell you that right now.
I thought I poured heavy, and I didn't.
But
so it was just like at the right point.
But depending on the era, Larry, gin and poontang would have been a hit.
It depends on what combination. Like if you pour gin into poontang, not a good look. Take it from me. Don't do it.
You pour
that's a health hazard
while you're taking the sip of gin and tang.
Oh.
You've never poured a drink all over a woman and then drank it anyway?
Not directly into her vagina, no.
Oh,
you have a live.
I'm just saying, like it is definitely not a good idea. Like I don't know from firsthand experience, but
it's not a good idea for her, but you're gonna have fun.
Well, yeah. It turns out she's not a cup.
She can't be. She's a vessel. She's a vessel. Just
have you at least done have you at least done a body shot?
I hate this show.
Like,
not this particular episode, but in general.
Body shots are like PG-13. Like that's
body shots are fine.
Okay, so now instead of the belly button, it's the vagina. I don't see the issue.
You never done poke off somebody's ass.
And
Me only when I'm with Jeff Loeb. Only me and Jeff Loeb have done that. Allegedly.
Allegedly, Larry hung out with Jeff Loeb.
Allegedly,
we did hang out with Jeff Loeb. I had an argument with him on Teen Titans.
Yeah, and we were with him when the news broke that Heroes got renewed. Remember, that was our first Fantastic Forum interview. History.
We broke the story that Zachary Quinto was not a straight man.
Yeah,
which
did we break that story?
We outed him. We outed him.
Yeah,
we outed him.
He didn't tell us directly, but when he started talking about his cats, like Mo and I looked at each other.
Listen, I was totally like, which member of Fantastic Forum had sex with Zachary Quinto? Who was that? Was that Jay or was it?
I would have taken the hit at the time. Like,
it was definitely us. It was definitely
us. Push the eyebrows, but
I like that interview because we're like, the ladies in the audience want to know because at the time Jess and Jen were like, is he single? It's like, see if we ladies in the audience want to, and then he goes into the mic, he grabs the mic and he goes like, hello ladies. And I'm like, that's not how you say hi to ladies.
Because as Mo was asking the question, we've had enough, like we've talked to him long enough that we knew, we just knew.
Yeah.
We looked at each other and we knew.
Yeah. Awesome. Fantastic Forum history.
Yeah. It's good stuff. That was one of our best drops.
Yeah. I gotta find that. We lost that.
Yeah. Anyway.
I hate it. I hate the show too.
Yeah, look, I told you.
We've done some amazing things that nobody knows about.
Yeah. Hey,
we're like Booster Gold in that.
Listen, I feel like we inspired Rob Liefeld to start his own podcast eventually.
That's a podcast?
Damn, that's one of the things I did want to talk about today too. Joe, you cannot call Liefeld a liar anymore for the Youngblood stuff.
Really? Did Bloodsport come out?
No, it didn't. But the problem is because Platinum Studios has the rights, and so he can't put it out, and they're not putting it out. So I'm actually working on buying 100,000 shares so that I can at least get you the script. But
I actually did hear about that recently.
Yeah,
that's not why he couldn't do it, but I did hear that they didn't own the right. He didn't own the rights.
Right.
They did kind of put it together.
When I was looking at their financial asset list to make my investment, I saw that they had it, and I'm like, this is why, because you can't even talk about it. It's like an NDA type of thing. So that's why, So I was looking at that financial list of their assets and debts and everything to make my investment in it. And then now, I hit a snag in actually getting the shares, but I'll get you the script, Joe. I'll get you the script.
I thought we called him a liar because he not only said that he was going to finish it, but I thought he gave us a timeline, like it'll be finished by this date.
But that Platinum Studios got the whole thing happened in that window from when he told us and when it actually when it was going to come out, and then he couldn't put it.
No, he told me that a couple of times, like years apart from each other. He did 3 different times.
Well, don't call him a liar either, because I'm gonna try and get this to come out.
I think Jay offered to held up $10 to get an answer. I don't know if that actually happened, but in my head, I'm remembering that it could be the alcohol.
That did not happen. That was alcohol.
Oh.
It's definitely Jay. That was when Jay. That was.
Now what?
Friggin'. What? Say what?
What company is it? I'm not trying to buy a few.
Platinum Studios. Yeah. Look, if you want a vanity, the thing is nobody would trade their stock because their stock is so devalued now that it's like we're not going to sell this to you. But it's like I got $1. I can get 1,000 shares. So I'm trying to get 100,000 because at that point, you get a Youngblood cartoon again or something. It goes to $1. I'm good. Yeah,
I got 5 on that.
Yeah, but so nobody's actually trading it. Like,
could you imagine if you got a Youngblood cartoon by the creators of Invincible?
Yeah.
I was actually thinking first we would get like a Savage Dragon cartoon.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that.
I know, dude, where am I blanking on his name? But
Eric Larson?
Yeah, Eric Larson has said he's willing to talk about because Savage Dragon did play a role in a few Invincible stories, it's particularly Invincible War. But he's been like in and out of Invincible, and he said, "Hey, call me. Like, if you want to use a character, call me and we'll talk."
Right.
And if they're talking, I'm hoping like an Amazon studio guy is there, and it's like, "Hey, why don't we give you one?" Like, that would be amazing. Like a good Savage Dragon cartoon.
That would be good.
Yeah. I was actually trying to buy into Skybound myself, and it's hard. You can't get in that.
It's right now.
Well, it's not even that. They're not. It's all venture capitalists. So you got to get a good chunk of money in, and they got to be willing to take that money because they want to do something else. But now they're making money, so they don't need any more venture capitalists. So, well, here we are. Here comes the money.
Is that another Mo deal?
No, but it's a Mo tip. Just a tip. This is PDOS. PDOS. Traded on the NASDAQ.
Hilarious.
PDOS. I think that's Platinum Studios. We get enough people on there. Look, we can be on the board and get this Youngblood Bloodsport out. Let's see, where is my ticker chart? So as of today, they're at 1,000th of a cent. So no broker in their right mind will sell it to you. But so I actually need to talk to somebody in person and say, hey, I want to buy some of it because,
trying to get controlling interest.
Yeah. And they put out Cowboys and Aliens, so they have enough stuff that they put out, like TV shows and stuff, where it's like they shouldn't. They're in too much debt is the problem, and that's where their value is. So if I can get in on that, I can tell them how to move some shit around and make some money.
Can we just call them and like ask for the script? Like, can we $50?
I think we can at this point. Their shares are at 1,000th of a cent, so like we could get it for a Snicker.
Like we're potential investors, but we need the script.
Yeah.
Make it real lucrative and offer a king size Snickers.
Yeah, the double.
I will sell you stock. I would like to buy some also.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out.
Holy.
Austin and not like a joke.
Look.
Oh, hopefully the cat's okay.
Get rid of that. It actually looks better without the screen, I think.
Well, you don't know what's back there.
All
right.
Huh?
Yeah. It's where he keeps his women.
Dead bodies are back there.
That's what it is.
You haven't learned to keep the dead bodies locked in the freezer yet?
They move. We lost Oz.
Yeah.
It happens.
He was the whole time, though.
Yeah.
Well, let's do some final thoughts, and hopefully he'll come back before it's all said and done.
I don't have the music.
But it's okay. We don't need the music. We can. Right, there it is. Bam. We'll do it in post. F it. We'll do it live. Uh-oh. What are you saying, Jay? Use your mic.
Oh, I was saying I could have played one of my songs.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No, we got it already.
indeed.
I love-
Hecht.
I love how Joe, the whole show, his mic's all the way over here, but when he's talking about his Disney story, it's like right here.
No, I don't know why it randomly stops working. But when I first started, it was fine.
Yeah.
I had it in my desk drawer and I didn't move it. But all of a sudden, you guys couldn't hear me.
I think when the sound compresses, it compresses your sound. It doesn't compress all our sound at the same rate, So that's part of the problem with StreamYard. I got to invest in this, and so I can have some say too.
El Hecht, give us some final thoughts, man.
Happy birthday, Mo.
Thank
Woo!
you.
There we go. Oscore, final thoughts. Oh, are you drinking Tang and
No,
Tanqueray?
no, this is just the Mo beer.
Mo beer.
They're not paying us, so I'm not gonna say the
Right.
full.
Mo beer.
But yeah, definitely happy
Mo
birthday.
beer. Thank you.
There it is. Jay, final thoughts.
I was gonna say something else, but happy birthday, Mo.
you can say two things, Jay, if you want to.
So stuff has been happening, and I've been learning a lot about the insides of the music industry, and it's actually a lot more interesting and complicated than I thought it would be. But well, no, it's as interesting as I thought it was, but it's a lot more complicated than I thought it would be. Like, you get to like copywriting and publisher writing, ASCAP, all this. Like, man, it gets, and don't even get me started on BMI.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's interesting and complicated.
I hate the ass cap.
I was trying to buy the blanket license, the one that you can like the stadiums have, so they can just play whatever song and it can go over the camera and they don't, and it's a process. Right. Like I was trying to get that for us just so that I can do my heavy metal minute without any problems. Mm-hmm. And the price wasn't, we'd have to generate income in order for it to be worth it. So I'm not going to say it, but it's substantial. I think it's worth it. But, the problem is it's the process. Like they want to see what you're going to do with it and this. And it's like, it's a whole pain in the ass. And that's one aspect of what you're talking about,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Moses Magnum. Final thoughts, buddy.
You might want to zoom in on this because I'm a monologue.
Bam. Oh, sorry.
So here we are, another year closer to death. And I'm thankful for it because I'm getting closer while others met it. And it's been a tough year and a half. And as a seasoned old man, I need to tell you that from my wisdom, you can benefit. Just don't buy into bullshit. Question everything. Find the evidence. Figure it out. And be good to each other. And then concentrate on 4 things in life. If you can master these 4 things, you're going to be the richest man on the fucking planet. You can conquer all reality. The first one is eating good. Eat well. Enjoy your food. Eat good food. Whether it's unhealthy or unhealthy, that's not the problem. Eat good. Enjoy it. Enjoy every bite of it. Second, sleep well. Don't let nothing take away your sleep. Enjoy your sleep. Even if you sleep half a night, enjoy the time you have awake because you can get something done or enjoy something you didn't have time for. The third one is shitting good. Eat fiber. If you live your entire life and you can't shit right, it's not going to be a good life for you. So make sure you shit right. So you eat right, sleep right, shit right. And the last one, fuck right. Don't let anything get in the way of your fucking right. So those 4 things, you make sure you do those things right, in everyday your life, you're gonna be a happy person, and nothing else will matter. And you'll be able to see through all the other bullshit and see how some of it is gonna affect you or how you can help somebody else. And that's my final thought for you on my birthday. This is my birthday gift to you.
There it is. For the entire Fantastic Forum, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Happy birthday, Moses. And we'll be back next week.
Salute.
Until then,
Salute.
we're the Fantastic Forum. We'll see you. Have a good night, folks. Happy birthday, Moses.
Oh, boy. Where's my tiara?